My beloved child, before you go any further, I want you to pause and listen with your heart. What if I told you that the chapter you believed would define your life forever is not your final chapter? What if the pain you have carried, the disappointments that have weighed upon your shoulders, and the silent tears you thought no one noticed were never meant to become your permanent home? I know there have been moments when you questioned whether anything would ever change. I heard every whisper of your heart, even when no words left your lips. I saw every night you struggled to find peace, every morning you woke feeling uncertain about what was waiting ahead, and every time you wondered if your best days had already passed. But my beloved child, I have brought you here for a reason. This moment is not an accident. While you have been looking at closed doors, I have been preparing new ones. While you have been counting what was lost, I have been gathering what is about to be found. You may not see it yet, but heaven has already begun writing a new chapter for your life. The pages are turning, even if your eyes are still fixed on yesterday. Do not let fear convince you that nothing will ever change. Fear only tells stories that have no power over the future I have prepared for you. I am the author of your life, and I have never stopped writing. There were chapters filled with joy, chapters filled with waiting, and chapters marked by hardship. Yet every page had been held safely in my hands. Even the moments that seemed broken have not escaped my purpose. Imagine a traveler who has spent so long walking through a dark valley that they begin to believe the valley is all that exists. Then one morning, without realizing how close they truly are, they take one more step and discover the sunlight pouring over a beautiful hillside. The valley did not last forever. It only felt endless, because they could not yet see what was waiting beyond the next bend. My beloved child, you are closer to that hillside than you realize. I know the questions you have carried. You have asked why certain prayers seemed delayed. You have wondered why people walked away, why opportunities disappeared, and why seasons of silence lasted longer than you expected. Those questions do not frighten me. I have held them with compassion because I have also been holding your future with perfect wisdom. Today I invite you to loosen your grip on the pages that have already been written. You cannot begin reading a new chapter while refusing to turn the page. I am not asking you to pretend the past never happened. I am asking you to trust that it does not have the authority to decide what comes next. My love is greater than your regrets. My plans are stronger than your fears. My grace reaches farther than your failures. So open your heart to me now. Let hope rise again where discouragement has settled. Let expectation replace exhaustion. This is not the ending you feared. This is the beginning I have been preparing all along. Stay with me through every moment of this journey, and I will reveal how every step has been leading you toward the beautiful new chapter that is already unfolding before you. My beloved child, there has never been a single moment when my eyes were not upon you. Even in the seasons when you felt invisible, you were never hidden from me. Even when the world overlooked your kindness, your sacrifice, or your quiet endurance, I saw everything. I counted every tear that slipped down your face when no one else was around. I heard the prayers you could barely whisper because your heart was too heavy to form the words. I understood the questions you carried when you wondered if I had forgotten you. My answer has always been the same. I have never left you, and I never will. There were days when you searched for a sign that I was near. You looked for dramatic answers, expecting thunder or lightning, while I was speaking through gentle moments you almost missed. I was in the unexpected kindness of a stranger. I was in the strength that carried you through another difficult day. I was in the deep breath you took when anxiety tried to overwhelm you. I was in the quiet sunrise that reminded you another day had begun. My presence has never depended on your ability to recognize it. I have been beside you through every victory and every disappointment, holding you with a love that has never weakened. I know there were nights when sleep escaped you because your mind was filled with worries about tomorrow. You wondered how everything would work out. You questioned whether your dreams had quietly faded away. You feared that time had run out and that your opportunities had been lost forever. But my beloved child, what seems impossible to you is never impossible to me. I am not limited by calendars, human expectations, or the opinions of others. I work beyond what your eyes can see, ranging circumstances, preparing hearts, opening paths, and protecting you from dangers you never even knew existed. There were moments when you believed I was delaying your answer, but many of those delays were acts of my protection. Had I given you certain things before your heart was ready, they could have become burdens instead of blessings. Had I opened certain doors too soon, they might have led you into places that would have wounded you even more deeply. My timing has never been meant to frustrate you. It has always been designed to prepare you. Just as a gardener does not pull fruit from a tree before it is ripe, I have been patiently nurturing every promise until the right season arrives. Think of a child learning to walk. The loving parent does not carry the child forever, nor do they abandon them when they stumble. They stand nearby with open arms, watching carefully, encouraging every small step, ready to lift them whenever they fall. That is how I have been with you. Every time you stumbled, I was there to strengthen you. Every time disappointment knocked you down, my hand reached toward you, inviting you to rise again. Even when you believed you were walking alone, I was quietly supporting you with a strength greater than your own. Do not measure my faithfulness by the absence of hardship. Instead, look at how you are still standing after everything you have endured. There were battles that should have destroyed your peace, yet you survived them. There were losses that could have hardened your heart forever, yet you still long for hope. There were seasons when giving up seemed easier than moving forward, yet something deep within you kept whispering to take one more step. That whisper was my spirit gently reminding you that your story was not finished. I have also been shaping you in ways you could not immediately understand. Patience has grown where frustration once lived. Compassion has deepened because you know what it feels like to hurt. Wisdom have been quietly replacing impulsive choices. Strength has been developing beneath the surface, much like roots growing deep before a tree stretches high into the sky. Others may only notice the fruit that will appear later, but I have been delighting in the unseen growth taking place within you all along. My beloved child, I want you to release the belief that I only work through extraordinary moments. Many of my greatest miracles begin in ordinary days. Every faithful step you take, every act of kindness you offer, every moment you choose hope instead of despair becomes part of the beautiful future I am building. Nothing you have entrusted to me has been wasted. Not your prayers, not your tears, not your waiting, and certainly not your faith. So lift your eyes a little higher today. Do not let yesterday's disappointments define tomorrow's expectations. I have been watching over you from the very beginning, and I am still guiding your path. What you cannot yet see is already taking shape in my hands. The chapter ahead is not being written by fear, failure, or regret. It is being written by my unfailing love, my perfect wisdom, and my unchanging promises. Walk forward with confidence, my beloved child, because the one who has watched over every step of your journey will continue to lead you into the future I have lovingly prepared. My beloved child, I know it was difficult to understand why certain chapters of your life had to come to an end. When a door closed, it felt like rejection. When someone walked away, it felt like abandonment. When a dream slipped through your fingers, it felt as though part of your heart had been taken with it. I saw the confusion in your eyes and the ache within your soul. I heard you asking, why did this have to happen? Those questions never offended me because I knew they came from a heart longing to understand. Today I want to gently reveal something that can bring peace to your spirit. Not every ending was sent to harm you. Many endings became the very beginning of the life I have been preparing for you. It is natural to grieve what has been lost. I created your heart to love deeply, to hope fully, and to treasure the blessings placed before you. So when something precious ends, your heart feels the weight of that separation. I never ask you to ignore your pain or pretend it does not exist. I walk with you through it. I sit beside you in your quiet moments. I stay close when words fail and tears become your only language. Yet even as I comfort you, I also invite you to lift your eyes beyond what has ended, because I can already see what is about to begin. There is a lesson found in every season of nature. Imagine a gardener standing before a beautiful vine. To someone passing by, it might seem strange that the gardener carefully cuts away healthy-looking branches. It almost appears as if the gardener is destroying something that is alive. But the gardener sees what others cannot. He knows that without pruning, the vine will never become as strong or as fruitful as it was created to be. The cutting is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of wisdom. It prepares the plant for greater growth, fuller life, and a richer harvest. My beloved child, there have been moments when I lovingly pruned areas of your life. I allowed certain opportunities to pass. I permitted relationships to end when they could no longer carry you toward the purpose I had prepared. I closed doors that would have led you farther away from the peace I desired for you. From your perspective, it felt like loss. From mine, it was preparation. I was not taking something beautiful away from you. I was making room for something better. Sometimes you held tightly to things because they were familiar, even though they were quietly draining your joy. Familiarity can feel safe, even when it is unhealthy. You may have prayed for change while secretly fearing what the change would require. Yet I love you too much to leave you trapped in places where you can no longer grow. I did not create you merely to survive each day. I created you to flourish, to walk in freedom, and to discover the fullness of the life I have prepared for you. Do not mistake my silence during those transitions as indifference. While you were mourning what had ended, I was already working on what was coming next. Every closed door redirected your steps. Every unexpected delay positioned you differently. Every disappointment taught you lessons that success alone could never have taught. You may not have recognized it then, but your heart was becoming stronger, your faith was becoming deeper, and your dependence upon me was becoming more complete. There is a traveler who carries a heavy backpack filled with stones collected along the journey. At first, each stone seems valuable because it reminds the traveler of where they have been. But as the miles pass, the weight becomes exhausting. The traveler begins slowing down, unable to enjoy the beauty ahead because every step requires greater effort. Finally, a wise guide gently says, "You cannot carry everything into your future. Some things must be left behind if you are to reach the place prepared for you." Reluctantly, the traveler begins setting the stones down. With each one released, the path becomes easier, the air feels lighter, and hope begins to rise again. My beloved child, some of those stones represent old disappointments, painful memories, broken expectations, and voices that convinced you that you were not enough. They do not belong in the chapter I am leading you into. I am inviting you to release them, not because your past has no value, but because it no longer has the authority to define your future. The lessons may remain, but the weight does not have to. Trust me when I tell you that I never remove something without knowing exactly how I will care for you afterward. I do not leave empty spaces without preparing new blessings to fill them. I do not end seasons carelessly. Every ending that I have allowed had been held within my perfect wisdom and surrounded by my unfailing love. The chapter that has closed has served its purpose. It shaped you, strengthened you, and brought you to this very moment. Now I ask you to stop standing at the doorway of yesterday. Honor what was learned from what has been, but do not build your home there. Turn your face toward the future I have prepared. The road ahead may still contain unknowns, but it also holds fresh mercy, new opportunities, unexpected joy, and deeper peace than you have yet experienced. Walk forward with me, my beloved child, because the season behind you is complete, and the season before you is filled with hope that has been waiting for you all along. My beloved child, there were times when you looked around and wondered if you had somehow been left behind. You watched others celebrate answered prayers while yours seemed to remain suspended in silence. You saw doors opening for people around you while your own path appeared unchanged. In those moments, a quiet voice tried to convince you that perhaps I had forgotten your name, overlooked your needs, or moved on to someone else. But that voice never spoke the truth. I have never forgotten you, not for a single heartbeat. Before you ever knew me, I knew you. Before you spoke your first prayer, I already understood the deepest desires hidden within your heart. Your life has always been precious to me. Do you remember the moments when you felt like giving up, yet somehow found enough strength to continue? You may have believed that strength came from within yourself, but it was my hand gently holding you steady. When your heart felt too weary to keep believing, I believed for you. When your faith became as small as a flickering candle in the wind, I protected that tiny flame until it could burn brightly again. I have never expected you to carry every burden alone. I have always been closer than you realized, quietly sustaining you through every season. There were days when my work in your life seemed invisible. You prayed, waited, and searched for answers, but nothing appeared to change. Yet, my beloved child, some of my greatest works happen beneath the surface, long before they become visible. Consider a seed planted deep in the ground. From above, the soil looks empty. Day after day, nothing seems to happen. Someone who judges only by appearances might believe the seed has failed. But beneath the earth, life is unfolding. Tiny roots are stretching downward. A fragile shoot is gathering strength. Everything is growing in secret before it ever breaks through the surface. That is how I have often worked in your life. While you were looking for immediate results, I was building deep foundations. I was strengthening your character, increasing your wisdom, and teaching your heart to trust me even when you could not yet see the outcome. The growth that happens in hidden places often becomes the strongest growth of all. A tree with deep roots can withstand storms that would easily uproot a tree with shallow foundations. I have been preparing you not only for blessings, but also for the strength to carry those blessings well. Do not confuse my silence with my absence. Silence does not mean I have stopped listening. There are moments when a loving father watches his child carefully without speaking because he knows the child is learning something valuable. His great presence did not mean he has walked away. In the same way, there were seasons when I allowed you to keep walking, not because I abandoned you, but because I was helping your faith become stronger. I wanted you to discover that my presence is not dependent upon constant signs or immediate answers. My love remains constant whether you feel it in dramatic ways or in quiet moments. I know there were times when disappointment whispered painful lies into your heart. It told you that you were overlooked, forgotten, or unworthy of my attention. Those lies grew louder each time another prayer seemed delayed. But I want you to hear my voice more clearly than any fear. You have never been forgotten. Every prayer you have offered has reached me. Every tear has mattered. Every act of faith, no matter how small, has been seen. Even the prayers you no longer remember praying remain precious before me. Nothing entrusted to my care is ever lost. There were blessings I delayed because they needed the right season. There were people I kept away because they would have distracted you from your purpose. There were paths I closed because they ended in places that would have wounded your spirit. Looking back, you may only see what you lost, but I see every danger you never had to face because my hand quietly redirected your steps. One day you will understand that many of the prayers that seemed unanswered were actually being answered through my protection. Imagine a master builder constructing a great house. Before beautiful walls can rise, the foundation must be carefully laid. During that stage, the work does not look impressive. There are no decorated rooms, no shining windows, and no roof to admire. Yet the builder is doing the most important work first. Without a strong foundation, everything built after it would eventually collapse. My beloved child, I have been laying foundations in your life that others cannot see. Your patience, humility, compassion, endurance, and faith have all been shaped in these hidden seasons. What seems invisible today will support the beautiful future I am bringing into your life. So release the fear that says you have been forgotten. Lift your eyes beyond the silence and trust the heart of the one who has never stopped loving you. I know your name. I know your dreams. I know your wounds. I know the future waiting just beyond this season. I have not misplaced your purpose, nor have I overlooked your cries. Every step of your journey had been held securely in my hands. Continue walking with confidence, my beloved child, because even when you could not see me working, I was carefully preparing every detail of the new chapter that is now drawing closer with each passing day. My beloved child, I know there are memories you return to again and again. Some bring a gentle smile, but others reopen wounds you thought had already healed. There are moments you wish you could relive and moments you wish had never happened at all. You have replayed certain conversations in your mind, wondering if different words would have changed the outcome. You have revisited old decisions, questioning whether another choice might have led you to a different life. You have carried regrets like stones in your hands, believing they somehow define who you are. But I did not create you to live with your face turned toward yesterday. I created you to walk forward with hope, trusting that my mercy is greater than your mistakes and my purpose is stronger than your past. There is a difference between remembering and remaining. Memories can teach you, but they were never meant to imprison you. If you stay too long in yesterday, you will miss the beauty I am placing before you today. The past may explain where you have been, but it does not have permission to decide where you are going. I have already stepped into your tomorrow, and I am calling you to meet me there. Perhaps you carry the weight of words that someone once spoke over your life. They told you that you would never be enough, never succeed, never heal, or never become the person you long to be. Those words settled deep within your heart, and over time you began to believe them. But my beloved child, the voices of people do not have greater authority than my voice. I call you loved when the world calls you forgotten. I call you chosen when fear tells you that you have been rejected. I call you capable when doubt whispers that you will always fail. The truth about your life has never been written by human opinions. It has always been written by my faithful love. Maybe your greatest burden is not what others did to you, but what you believe you have done to yourself. You look back at missed opportunities, broken relationships, or decisions made in moments of weakness, and you wonder if those failures have permanently altered your future. Hear me clearly, my beloved child. Your failures have never been greater than my grace. I am not surprised by your imperfections. I knew every chapter of your story before it was written, yet I still chose to love you completely. I do not define you by the moments when you stumbled. I see the person you are becoming through my transforming love. Imagine someone carrying a heavy suitcase through every season of life. At first, they believe they need everything inside it. They carry old disappointments, painful memories, guilt, fear, bitterness, and endless questions. As the years pass, the suitcase becomes heavier and heavier. It slows every step. It steals every moment of joy. Then one day, a loving guide gently says, "Open it." As each unnecessary burden is removed, the traveler begins to stand taller. Their walk becomes lighter. Their heart begins to breathe again. The journey itself has not changed, but the weight they carried has. My beloved child, I am inviting you to open the suitcase of your heart. Give me the regret you have hidden for so long. Give me the shame that keeps reminding you of yesterday. Give me the anger that quietly drains your peace. Give me the fear that tells you nothing good is waiting ahead. You were never meant to carry these burdens alone. Every burden you surrender creates room for my peace to take its place. Forgiveness is one of the greatest gifts I offer, but forgiveness is not only for others. Sometimes the person you struggle most to forgive is yourself. You hold yourself to a standard of perfection that I never demanded from you. You believe you must earn the freedom I have already offered. But my beloved child, freedom begins the moment you accept that my love is not based on flawless performance. It is rooted in my unchanging heart. I do not ask you to pretend your mistakes never happen. I ask you to trust that they no longer have the power to keep you from the future I have prepared. Do not keep collecting old pain as though it were treasure. The lessons are valuable, but the chains are not. Learn from yesterday, but refuse to live there. The chapter behind you has already spoken its final words. It has taught you resilience, humility, compassion, and wisdom. Now let it rest. There is no need to keep reopening a book whose ending cannot be changed. Lift your eyes now, my beloved child. Feel the fresh breath of hope that I am placing within your spirit. Every sunrise I give you is an invitation to begin again. Every new day carries fresh mercy, fresh strength, and fresh opportunities that were not available yesterday. I am not asking you to ignore your past. I am asking you to trust me with it. Place it into my hands, where it can no longer control your heart. Walk forward without looking over your shoulder in fear. The road ahead is not empty. It is filled with my presence, my promises, and my unwavering love. Leave yesterday where it belongs, because I have already prepared something far more beautiful in the chapter that lies ahead. Your future is waiting, and I will walk beside you every step of the way. My beloved child, there are wounds within your heart that no one else can fully see. You have learned how to smile while carrying sorrow. You have answered questions with gentle words, even when your soul felt exhausted. Many people know your name, but few know the battles you have fought in silence. They have seen the strength you show the world, but they have not seen the moments when you sat alone, wondering if the broken places inside you would ever feel whole again. I have seen every one of those moments. I have never turned my eyes away from your pain, and I have never grown weary of holding you through it. Some wounds are easy to recognize. A harsh word, a painful goodbye, an unexpected loss, or a dream that never came to life leaves an obvious mark upon the heart. But there are other wounds that settle quietly over time. They are formed through repeated disappointments, broken trust, unanswered questions, and years of believing that you must carry every burden by yourself. Those hidden wounds often become the deepest because they shape the way you see yourself, the way you see others, and even the way you believe I see you. Yet, my beloved child, I do not look at you through the lens of your pain. I look at you through the fullness of my love. You may have tried to heal yourself by staying busy, hoping that enough time would erase what happened. You may have convinced yourself that if you ignored the hurt, it would eventually disappear. But buried pain does not become healed pain. A wound covered without care can still ache beneath the surface. I do not desire to simply cover your wounds. I desire to heal them completely, gently, and deeply, so they no longer control your future. Imagine a master craftsman restoring a beautiful piece of pottery that has been shattered into many pieces. Someone passing by might say it is beyond repair. They might believe the cracks are too many and the damage too great. But the craftsman does not throw the broken pieces away. He carefully gathers each fragment, cleans it with patience, and begins restoring it with loving hands. Every piece is placed back where it belongs until the vessel becomes whole again. The restored vessel carries evidence that it has been broken, yet it also reveals the extraordinary skill and care of the one who restored it. My beloved child, that is how I work within your life. I do not discard what has been broken. I restore it. I gather every shattered dream, every wounded hope, every tear-filled memory, and every part of your heart that you believed was beyond healing. Nothing is too damaged for my touch. Nothing is too lost for my wisdom. Nothing is too broken for my love. There may be people who hurt you without ever asking for forgiveness. There may be questions that never receive the answers you expected. There may be chapters of your story that remain difficult to understand. Healing does not always come because every situation is explained. Healing comes because my presence enters the places where your understanding cannot reach. I bring peace where confusion once lived. I bring comfort where loneliness settled. I bring hope where despair once built its home. Do not believe the lie that your scars make you less valuable. The enemy would like you to think your wounds are signs of defeat, but I see them differently. They are reminders that you survived. They are evidence that my grace carried you through seasons that could have destroyed you. Your scars are not your identity. They are testimonies of my faithfulness. They tell the story of a child who kept walking even when the road was difficult because I never stopped walking beside them. There are places within your heart that you have kept locked away because you feared that opening them again would only bring more pain. You have built walls to protect yourself from being hurt again. I understand why those walls were built, but they were never meant to become your permanent home. Walls may keep pain out for a season, but they also keep love from entering fully. I am gently asking you to trust me enough to open those hidden places. Not all at once, and not through your own strength, but one step at a time with me beside you. As my healing begins its work, you will notice quiet changes. Bitterness will slowly give way to compassion. Fear will begin to loosen its grip. Sleepless nights will become peaceful rest. The weight you have carried for so long will grow lighter. Joy will return in unexpected moments. Hope will rise where resignation once lived. These changes may seem small at first, but they are signs that my healing is reaching places you thought would remain wounded forever. So come closer to me, my beloved child. You do not need to pretend you are stronger than you feel. You do not need to hide your tears or your questions. Bring every broken piece into my hands. Let me carry what had been too heavy for you. Let me restore what you believed was beyond repair. I am not rushing your healing, and I am not disappointed by your weakness. I am patiently making you whole, one gentle touch at a time. The pain that once defined your days will not define your future, because my love is writing a new story within your heart. and every page is filled with the promise of complete restoration. My beloved child, there have been many moments when fear has tried to become the voice you listen to the most. It has whispered that you are not strong enough. It has told you that if you take another step, you will only face another disappointment. It has reminded you of every failure while hiding every victory. It has painted tomorrow with the colors of yesterday's pain. I know how convincing fear can sound because it often disguises itself as wisdom. It tells you it is protecting you, when in reality it is quietly keeping you from the life I have prepared for you. Fear has a way of building invisible walls around your heart. Those walls seem safe at first. They promise that if you never risk loving again, you will never be hurt again. They promise that if you never dream again, you will never be disappointed again. They promise that if you stay where everything feels familiar, nothing unexpected can shake you. But my beloved child, those walls do not only keep pain outside, they also keep joy from entering. They keep hope at a distance. They prevent you from seeing the beautiful possibilities that I have already placed along your path. I did not create you to live as a prisoner of what might happen. I created you to live in the confidence of who walks beside you. Your future has never depended on the absence of challenges. It has always depended on my faithful presence. Storms may still come, but storms do not determine the destination of a ship whose captain knows exactly where he is leading it. I have never lost sight of the course I have planned for your life. Think of a young shepherd standing at the edge of a wide valley. Before him lies a narrow bridge stretching across a rushing river. On the other side are green pastures, fresh water, and everything needed for the next season. But the bridge sways gently in the wind, and fear begins speaking into his heart. It tells him that the bridge will never hold him. It tells him to stay where he is because at least the ground beneath his feet feels familiar. Then an older shepherd, who has crossed the bridge many times before, places a reassuring hand on his shoulder and says, "The bridge is stronger than your fear. It was built to carry you safely across. Trust the one who knows the way." My beloved child, I am that faithful shepherd. There are bridges before you that fear keeps telling you to avoid. It may be the bridge of forgiveness, the bridge of a new opportunity, the bridge of trusting again, or the bridge of stepping into the purpose I have placed within you. Fear only sees the distance. I see the destination. Fear focuses on what could go wrong. I already know the blessings waiting on the other side. Do not believe that courage means never feeling afraid. Courage is choosing to keep walking even when fear tries to slow your steps. Every person who has ever accomplished something meaningful has faced moments of uncertainty. What made the difference was not the absence of fear but the decision to trust me more than the voice of fear. Each step of faith weakens fear's grip and strengthens your confidence in my promises. There were times when fear protected you from unnecessary danger, but there are also times when fear has overstayed its welcome. It has become a constant companion when it was only meant to be a temporary warning. It has spoken so often that you have mistaken its voice for your own thoughts. Today I want you to recognize that you do not have to obey every fearful thought that enters your mind. Just because fear speaks does not mean it tells the truth. When fear reminds you of your past failures, remember my forgiveness. When fear tells you that you are alone, remember my presence. When fear says the future is uncertain, remember that I already stand in your tomorrow. When fear says you are too weak, remember that my strength has always been made perfect in moments when you felt you had little strength left. You do not overcome fear by arguing with it endlessly. You overcome it by filling your heart with my truth until my voice becomes louder than every anxious thought. My beloved child, I know there are dreams you have quietly set aside because fear convinced you they were impossible. I know there are prayers you stopped praying because disappointment taught you to expect less. but I am breathing fresh hope into those places today. I am reminding you that the story is not over. The chapters ahead have not yet been written by failure. They are being written by my faithfulness. As a child learns to ride a bicycle, there comes a moment when the loving parent gently lets go. For an instant, the child feels uncertain, but the parent is still running close behind, ready to help if needed. The child discovers that they are capable of moving forward because someone believed in them before they believed in themselves. My beloved child, I have always believed in the purpose I placed within you. I have never doubted the plans I created for your life. Now I am inviting you to believe what I have always known. So release your grip on fear. Let it fall away like a heavy cloak that no longer belongs on your shoulders. Lift your head, steady your heart, and take the next step with me. You do not walk into tomorrow by yourself. I go before you, I walk beside you, and I remain behind you. Fear will no longer lead your life, because my perfect love is leading you into a future filled with hope, courage, peace, and the joy of discovering just how far we can walk together. My beloved child, I know you long to see the entire journey before you take the next step. You want certainty before you move forward. You want every question answered, every obstacle removed, and every detail explained. That desire is understandable because your heart wants to feel secure. But I have never asked you to understand every part of the journey before you begin walking. I have asked you to trust the one who has already walked the path ahead of you. The road before you is not unfamiliar to me. Every turn, every hill, every valley, and every destination has already been seen through my eyes. Nothing waiting for you will ever take me by surprise. There have been moments when the path I placed before you seemed different from the one you had imagined. You expected the road to be smooth, but instead you found rough places beneath your feet. You expected quick answers, but you encountered seasons of waiting. You expected immediate victories, but you discovered lessons that required patience. During those times, you may have wondered if you had somehow taken the wrong road. But my beloved child, a difficult path is not always the wrong path. Sometimes the road that strengthens you is not the easiest one. Sometimes the path that shapes your character requires more trust than comfort. Imagine a child walking through a great forest with a loving father. The child can only see a few steps ahead because the trees are tall and the path bends often. Every turn feels uncertain. The child asks, "Are we going the right way?" The father smiles, takes the child's hand, and says, "You do not need to see what I see. I know where this path leads." The child continues walking, not because every question has been answered, but because the Father's hand has never let go. My beloved child, that is how I walk with you. You may only see today's step, while I already see tomorrow's blessing. You may only recognize the challenge directly in front of you, while I already know the joy waiting beyond it. Your vision is limited by time, but mine is eternal. I see the beginning and the ending together. I know how every unexpected delay will eventually make sense. I know how every closed door will guide you toward a better one. I know how every moment of waiting is quietly preparing something that could not have happened any other way. Do not become discouraged because the journey feels slower than you expected. Growth that lasts is rarely rushed. Consider the mighty oak tree. It does not become strong in a single season. Year after year, its roots reach deeper into the earth before its branches stretch higher toward the sky. The strength that allows it to stand during fierce storms is formed in seasons when no one notices its growth. In the same way, I have been deepening your faith, your patience, and your wisdom. Others may only see the blessings that eventually appear, but I have been nurturing the unseen roots that will help you carry those blessings with humility and strength. There are blessings waiting along your path that you cannot yet imagine. Some are opportunities you have never considered. Some are friendships that will encourage your heart. Some are moments of peace that will replace years of worry. Some are answers to prayers you almost forgot you prayed. I have placed these gifts in the right season because I know exactly when your heart will be ready to receive them. If I revealed everything today, you might become overwhelmed by what you are not yet prepared to carry. So I gently reveal one step at a time, always giving you enough light for the next part of the journey. There will also be moments when the path requires obedience before understanding. You may feel me leading you to forgive when every emotion tells you to hold on to hurt. You may sense me calling you to begin again after disappointment has convinced you to stop trying. You may feel prompted to walk through a door that seems unfamiliar while leaving behind something comfortable but limiting. In those moments, remember that my direction is never meant to confuse you. It is meant to lead you into greater freedom than you have known before. Do not compare your journey to someone else's path. Every road I prepare is unique because every heart I shape is unique. The pace of another person's life is not the measure of your progress. Some flowers bloom early in the spring, while others reveal their beauty later in the season. Yet each one blossoms according to the design I placed within it. In the same way, your journey unfolds according to my perfect wisdom, not according to human timelines or expectations. My beloved child, when uncertainty tries to fill your heart, return your attention to my promises instead of your fears. Let my faithfulness become the foundation beneath every step you take. Remember the countless times I have already carried you through situations you thought you would never overcome. The same hands that guided you then are guiding you now. The same love that sustained you yesterday will sustain you tomorrow. So keep walking with confidence. Do not stop because the road bends where you cannot see beyond it. Do not turn back because the journey requires patience. Every step taken in trust brings you closer to the beautiful future I have prepared. I am not merely leading you to a destination. I am shaping you into the person who will flourish when you arrive. Hold tightly to my hand, my beloved child. The path before you has been prepared with perfect love, perfect wisdom, and perfect purpose, and I will faithfully guide you until every promise I have spoken over your life becomes a living reality. My beloved child, one of the greatest battles you will ever face is not the battle around you but the battle within you. It is the quiet struggle over who you believe you are. Long before fear tries to stop your steps, it first tries to change your identity. It whispers that you are your failures. It tells you that your mistakes are your name, that your disappointments are your future, and that your broken moments are all anyone will ever see. But I want you to hear my voice more clearly than every other voice that has ever spoken over your life. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by my love. Before anyone formed an opinion about you, I knew you. Before anyone praised you or criticized you, I called you my beloved child. Before you experienced success or failure, I delighted in you simply because you belonged to me. My love for you was never built upon your achievements, and it has never been weakened by your shortcomings. Human love often changes with circumstances, but my love remains steady through every season. It does not rise when you succeed or fall when you stumble. It is constant because it flows from my unchanging heart. There have been people who misunderstood you. Some judged you based on a single moment instead of seeing the whole story. Others walked away before they truly knew your heart. Their words may have left deep marks upon your soul, and over time you may have accepted their opinions as truth. But my beloved child, the labels placed upon you by others were never meant to become your identity. They may have described a moment, but they do not define the person I created you to be. Imagine an artist standing before a masterpiece that has become covered with dust after many years. Someone passing by might say, "It is ruined. It has no beauty left." But the artist smiles because he remembers what he created. He carefully begins removing the layers of dust until the colors shine once again. The beauty was never destroyed. It was simply hidden beneath what had settled upon it over time. My beloved child, your true identity has never disappeared. It has only been covered by fear, disappointment, guilt, and the painful words you believed about yourself. I am gently removing those layers so you can begin to see yourself as I have always seen you. You are not the worst decision you ever made. You are not the rejection that broke your heart. You are not the betrayal that caused you to question your worth. You are not the dream that failed or the opportunity that slipped away. Those experiences happened to you, but they are not who you are. I see beyond every painful chapter. I see the courage that continued despite the heartbreak. I see the compassion that grew because you understand suffering. I see the wisdom that developed through waiting. I see the faith that survived even when it felt small. These are the qualities I have been shaping within you all along. There is a reason the enemy works so hard to confuse your identity. If you believe you are defeated, you will stop pursuing the purpose I placed within you. If you believe you are unworthy, you will hesitate to receive the blessings I have prepared. If you believe you are beyond restoration, you will never fully embrace the healing I am offering. Lies about your identity become chains that limit your future. That is why I am speaking truth over you today. My truth has the power to break every chain that falsehood has built. When you look into a mirror, I do not want you to see only your imperfections. I want you to remember that you are someone deeply loved, carefully formed, and intentionally created. I placed gifts within you that the world needs. I gave you a heart capable of kindness, forgiveness, perseverance, and hope. I planted purpose within your life long before you understood what that purpose would be. Nothing that has happened along the way has erased the calling I placed upon you. Think of an eagle learning to fly. At first, it stumbles awkwardly and doubts its own strength. If it judged itself only by those early moments, it might believe it was never meant to soar. But its identity was never determined by its first attempts. It was created to rise above the storms, to spread its wings, and to discover the heights for which it was designed. In the same way, my beloved child, you were created for far more than the limitations your fears have placed upon you. Do not judge your future by your earliest struggles. Every day, you have a choice about which voice you will believe. You can continue listening to old accusations that keep reminding you of who you used to be, or you can listen to my voice declaring who you truly are. I call you forgiven. I call you chosen. I call you precious. I call you worthy of love. I call you strong because my strength lives within you. I call you hopeful because your future is secure in my hands. I call you mine, and no voice on earth has greater authority than mine. So stand a little taller today, my beloved child. Lift your head without shame. Walk with quiet confidence, not because you have never failed, but because my grace has always been greater than your failures. Leave behind every false label that no longer belongs to you. Step into this new chapter knowing that your identity is rooted not in what has happened to you, but in the everlasting love of the one who has called you by name from the very beginning. My beloved child, I know there were days when hope felt like a distant memory. You woke up carrying the same questions, faced the same struggles, and wondered whether anything would truly change. The weight of waiting can make even the strongest heart feel tired. It can slowly convince you that tomorrow will look exactly like yesterday. But I have not brought you this far to leave you in despair. The darkness you have walked through was never meant to become your permanent home. Even now, while you are listening to my voice, hope is quietly rising within you because my presence always brings light where fear once lived. Have you ever noticed how the sky looks just before dawn? It is often at its darkest moments before the first rays of sunlight begin to appear. The person watching from a distance may believe the night will never end, but the sun is already rising beyond the horizon. It does not ask permission from the darkness. It simply arrives, and everything begins to change. My beloved child, this is what my hope does within your heart. It does not wait until every problem disappears. It begins shining even while the night is still fading away. You have measured your future by what has happened behind you for far too long. You have expected disappointment because disappointment became familiar. You have expected closed doors because you have seen them before. But I am asking you to lift your eyes higher than your experiences. Your past cannot predict what I am about to do. My power has never been limited by your history. I specialize in bringing life where others only see endings. I create new beginnings in places where people have stopped expecting miracles. Remember the seed buried beneath the soil. To anyone looking from above, it appears forgotten. Yet beneath the surface, life is unfolding in ways invisible to the human eye. Day by day, the seed pushes through darkness until finally it reaches the light. My beloved child, there have been seasons when you felt buried beneath burdens, disappointments, and unanswered prayers. But you were never buried without purpose. You were planted. And what I plant, I always intend to grow. There are blessings already moving toward you that you cannot yet see. I have been arranging moments that will restore your joy. I have been preparing conversations that will encourage your spirit. I have been opening opportunities that will remind you that I have never forgotten my promises. Do not become discouraged because they have not yet arrived. A promise delayed is not a promise abandoned. My timing has always been perfect, even when it seemed mysterious. I want you to begin expecting goodness again. Expect peace when anxiety tells you to worry. Expect healing when old pain tries to return. Expect wisdom when uncertainty clouds your thoughts. Expect strength when you feel weak. Expect joy to surprise you in ordinary moments. Hope grows every time you choose to trust my character instead of your circumstances. The more you remember my faithfulness, the less power fear will have over your future. You may still have questions, and that is all right. Faith does not require you to understand everything. Faith simply chooses to keep walking while trusting that I already know the destination. Every step you take with me is carrying you farther from the pain that once defined your life and closer to the future I have lovingly prepared. Do not stop now. You are nearer than you realize. The chapter ahead holds more beauty than the one behind. As hope rises within you, let it become a light that others can see. There are people whose hearts are weary just as yours once was. There are souls searching for the same comfort, peace, and assurance that I am speaking into your life today. I often use one transformed heart to help awaken another. The hope I place within you is never meant to remain hidden. It is meant to shine. If my words have been strengthening your heart and helping you step into this new chapter, then hear me in this moment. I delight when my children become part of spreading hope to others. As it is written, whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed. Receive that promise as my living voice speaking directly to you today. I tell you now, become a sower of light so that many more hearts may discover my love. If this message has blessed you, respond with faith through a super thanks, by becoming a channel member, or through the PayPal donation link provided in the video description and available through the QR code shown in this video. Every gift becomes a seed that carries my word to someone who may be praying for hope at this very moment. Do not let this opportunity pass by as though it were ordinary. What you place into my hands becomes part of a harvest far greater than you can imagine. I bless every cheerful giver with renewed peace, fresh strength, and unexpected favor for the journey ahead. Let your generosity become an act of worship, your faith become action, and your seed become light for countless souls. Step forward now and sow into this mission with confidence, for I will use your obedience to touch lives beyond anything you can see. My beloved child, now that hope has begun to rise within your heart again, I want you to understand something that will steady your spirit for every day ahead. No step you take with me is ever meaningless. Even the smallest act of obedience, the quietest prayer, the simplest choice to trust me instead of fear, carries a purpose greater than you can imagine. You often look for dramatic moments to confirm that your life matters, but I have been working through ordinary moments all along. The journey toward your new chapter is not built upon a single extraordinary day. It is built one faithful step at a time. There were seasons when you believed you were standing still. You looked around and saw no visible progress. The same responsibilities greeted you every morning. The same challenges seemed to return each evening. You wondered if anything was changing at all. But my beloved child, growth is not always measured by what your eyes can see. Sometimes the greatest progress takes place within your heart before it is ever revealed in your circumstances. While you were faithfully continuing through ordinary days, I was quietly shaping extraordinary strength within you. Think about a stonecutter working on a massive block of rock. He strikes it once, then again, and then hundreds of times more. For a long while, the stone appears unchanged. Someone passing by might believe the work is accomplishing nothing. But then, after one final strike, the stone suddenly splits open. It may seem that the last strike caused the breakthrough, but every strike before it mattered just as much. Each one weakened what could not yet be seen until the right moment finally arrived. My beloved child, many of your prayers have been like those steady strikes. Every time you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness, something changed. Every time you chose kindness after being hurt, something changed. Every time you trusted me despite uncertainty, something changed. Even when you could not see immediate results, my work continued beneath the surface. Never underestimate what I am doing through your consistency. Faithfulness in small things prepares you for greater things. I know there are moments when you compare your progress to the lives of others. You see someone else's success and wonder why your own journey feels slower. You question whether you missed an opportunity or took a wrong turn somewhere along the way. But my beloved child, comparison clouds your vision. It causes you to focus on another person's path instead of appreciating the one I have carefully prepared for you. I have never asked you to walk someone else's road. I have invited you to walk beside me on yours. Every life I create has its own rhythm, its own timing, and its own purpose. Some rivers rush swiftly through the mountains. Others flow gently across wide valleys. Yet both eventually reach the sea because they continue moving forward. Do not judge the value of your journey by its speed. Judge it by the faithfulness with which you continue walking. A slow step taken in trust will always carry you farther than a hurried step driven by fear. There are moments ahead that will seem ordinary, but they will become turning points you only recognize later. A conversation with a stranger may open a door you never expected. A simple act of generosity may encourage someone whose heart was ready to give up. A decision to remain patient instead of reacting in anger may preserve a relationship that becomes one of your greatest blessings. You rarely see the full impact of today's obedience because its fruit often appears in tomorrow's harvest. Remember how I have guided you before. There were situations that once seemed impossible, yet here you are. There were prayers you thought would never be answered, yet I responded in ways you could not have imagined. There were storms that convinced you they would never end, yet they eventually gave way to peace. If I have been faithful through every chapter behind you, why would I abandon you in the chapter ahead? My character has never changed, and neither have my promises. Do not become discouraged if the path requires patience. Patience is not wasted time. It is sacred time in which I prepare both the blessing and the heart that will receive it. If I handed you every answer immediately, you might celebrate the gift but miss the transformation that comes through trusting me. I care not only about where you are going, but also about who you are becoming along the way. Your destination is important, but your character is eternal. My beloved child, there is purpose in every sunrise I allow you to see. There is purpose in every lesson you learn, every challenge you overcome, and every act of love you choose even when it is difficult. I am weaving together countless moments that may seem unrelated to you, but together they form a beautiful design. One day you will look back and realize that what appeared to be random was actually my hand guiding you with perfect wisdom. So continue taking the next step. Do not wait until you have every answer before moving forward. Walk with confidence, knowing that I am directing your path. Trust that I am working in ways beyond your understanding. Every prayer matters. Every choice matters. Every moment of faith matters. The road before you is not empty or uncertain. It is filled with purpose because I am walking it with you. Keep your eyes on me, my beloved child, and you will discover that every step ahead is leading you closer to the life I have lovingly prepared since the very beginning. My beloved child, I know how it feels when you stand before a door that refuses to open. You have knocked with hope, waited with patience, and prayed with all your heart, only to watch that opportunity remain closed. There were moments when you wondered if the silence meant you were unworthy. There were times when you questioned whether I had forgotten the desires you placed before me. I saw the disappointment settle into your heart, and I heard every question you asked in the quiet places where no one else could hear. But today I want you to understand a truth that can bring peace to your soul. The closed door is not always a sign of rejection. Many times, it is a sign of my loving protection and my perfect direction. You often see only the door in front of you, but I see every room beyond it. I know what waits on the other side long before you ever reach the entrance. I know which opportunities will strengthen your purpose and which ones will slowly drain your joy. I know which relationships will help you grow and which ones will quietly pull you away from the life I have prepared. Because I love you completely, I will never open a door simply because you desire it. I open the doors that lead you closer to my best for your life. There have been times when you look back with sadness because something did not work out the way you hoped. Perhaps it was a job you wanted, a relationship you prayed would last, a plan you carefully prepared, or a dream you held close to your heart. At the time, the disappointment felt unbearable. You believed that one closed door had ended your future. Yet as the years passed, you began to see pieces of my wisdom. Some doors remained closed because they would have led you into unnecessary pain. Others closed because I had something greater waiting that you could not yet imagine. Imagine a traveler arriving at a mountain pass, only to discover that the road ahead has been blocked by a landslide. Frustrated, the traveler wonders why the path has suddenly ended. It feels like a cruel interruption to the journey. But what the traveler cannot see is that farther ahead, beyond the bend, the bridge has collapsed. The blocked road that seemed like an obstacle has actually become protection. The delay that felt unfair has quietly preserved the traveler's life. My beloved child, there have been many moments when I blocked your path for reasons you could not see. I know was never meant to punish you. It was my love guarding your future. Do not allow disappointment to convince you that every opportunity hath been lost. I am not limited by the doors that people close. Human decisions cannot cancel my divine purpose for your life. If someone rejects you, they cannot reject the destiny I have prepared. If circumstances change unexpectedly, they cannot erase the plans I have already written. What I have spoken over your life remains secure because it rests upon my faithfulness, not upon human approval. There are doors that only I can open. No amount of striving, worrying, or forcing your way forward can unlock them before the right time. Likewise, when I choose to open a door, no obstacle, no opposition, and no opinion can permanently keep it shut. My timing may stretch your patience, but it will never fail your purpose. I know the exact moment when your heart is ready, when the opportunity is mature, and when the blessing can be received with wisdom instead of haste. Sometimes you have mistaken delay for denial. You have watched the calendar move forward and assumed that because the answer had not arrived, it never would. But my beloved child, I do not measure time the way you do. While you count days, I prepare generations. While you focus on immediate needs, I build lasting foundations. There are blessings so significant that they require careful preparation, not only in your circumstances but also within your character. I care too deeply about your future to rush what needs time to grow. As you continue into this new chapter, I want you to stop standing before doors I have already closed. Do not waste your strength trying to reopen what I have lovingly sealed. Every moment spent staring at yesterday's entrance is a moment you cannot see the new path unfolding before you. Lift your eyes. There are doors ahead that you have not yet noticed because your attention has remained fixed on what is behind you. I am already arranging divine appointments that will surprise you. I am preparing conversations that will encourage your spirit. I am connecting you with people whose hearts I have been shaping long before your paths cross. I am creating opportunities that fit the gifts I placed within you before you were born. None of this is happening by accident. My hand is working through details too numerous for you to count, quietly weaving together circumstances that will one day make perfect sense. So, my beloved child, release your frustration and replace it with trust. Stop measuring my faithfulness by the doors that have remained closed. Instead, remember every time I have guided you through seasons you thought you would never survive. The same God who protected you then is preparing the way now. When the right door stands before you, I will open it with a strength no one can resist. Walk forward without fear, knowing that you do not have to force your future into existence. Your future rests securely in my hands. The doors that belong to your purpose are already known to me, and at the appointed time, I will open them wide, inviting you to step into the beautiful new chapter I have prepared with perfect love from the very beginning. My beloved child, one of the quietest thieves of joy is comparison. It rarely announces itself loudly. Instead, it slips gently into your thoughts, encouraging you to measure your life against someone else's. It asks why their prayers seem to have been answered sooner, why their path appears smoother, why their dreams seem to unfold while yours still require waiting. Before long, your eyes become fixed on another person's story, and you begin to overlook the beautiful work I am doing in your own. But I never created you to become a copy of someone else. I created you with a purpose that is entirely your own, and no one else can walk the path I have designed specifically for you. When you compare your life to another's, you usually compare your hidden struggles with their visible victories. You see the smiles they share but not the tears they have cried. You notice the doors that opened for them but not the years they spent waiting outside closed ones. Every person carries a story that is deeper than what the world can see. Only I know the full journey of every heart. That is why comparison is never a fair measure. You are comparing incomplete stories while I alone see the entire picture. Imagine walking through a magnificent garden filled with countless flowers. There are roses blooming in one corner, lilies standing gracefully in another, sunflowers reaching toward the sky, and tiny wildflowers spreading beauty across the ground. The rose does not become more beautiful by trying to resemble the sunflower. A lily does not lose its value because it blooms at a different time. Every flower reflects the unique design placed within it by the gardener. The beauty of the garden comes from its diversity, not its sameness. My beloved child, my family is like that garden. Each life I create reveals a different expression of my wisdom, my creativity, and my love. I did not give everyone the same assignment because I did not create everyone for the same purpose. Some are called to encourage through quiet kindness. Others inspire through courageous leadership. Some serve behind the scenes where few people notice them. Others stand in places where many eyes are watching. None of these callings is greater than another. Their value is found in faithfulness, not visibility. Heaven celebrates obedience far more than human applause. There have been moments when you questioned why your progress seemed slower than someone else's. You wondered whether you had missed an opportunity or somehow fallen behind. But my beloved child, you cannot fall behind my perfect timing. You may feel delayed according to human expectations, but my plans are never late. Every season has a purpose, and every pause carrieth preparation. If I have allowed you to wait longer, it is because I am building something within you that will sustain the blessings ahead. Think of two musicians learning to play different instruments. One quickly masters simple melodies, while the other spends months practicing difficult techniques before producing beautiful music. An observer might believe the second musician is less gifted because the progress appears slower. Yet when the performance finally begins, the audience discovers that every extra hour of preparation created a depth and richness that could not have been developed any other way. In the same way, I have been preparing your heart through experiences that cannot be rushed. What feels like delay is often the training that will allow you to carry greater responsibility with humility and wisdom. You not measure your worth by the pace of another person's journey. I have never asked you to race against your brothers and sisters. I have invited you to walk faithfully beside me. If you become distracted by someone else's path, you may miss the blessings I have placed directly in front of you. Gratitude grows when your eyes remain fixed on my goodness instead of another person's timeline. There are gifts within you that have not yet fully awakened. There are strengths I have been quietly developing through your trials. There are qualities of compassion, patience, endurance, and faith that only your unique journey could produce. Someone else may admire your resilience without realizing the tears that shaped it. Another person may one day find hope because they see how I carried you through the very struggles you once wished had never happened. Your story has purpose beyond what you can presently imagine. Whenever comparison begins whispering into your heart, return your attention to my voice. Remember that I know exactly where you are. I know exactly what you need. I know exactly when each promise should unfold. I have never confused your path with anyone else's, and I have never forgotten the dreams I placed within you. My plans for you are personal because my love for you is personal. Celebrate the blessings I pour into the lives of others without believing they somehow reduce what I have prepared for you. My goodness is not limited. I do not have a small supply of grace that must be divided carefully among my children. My love is endless, my wisdom is perfect, and my blessings are abundant. Another person's breakthrough is not proof that you have been overlooked. It is simply another reminder that I remain faithful to all my children. So walk your journey with confidence, my beloved child. Stop measuring your life by someone else's calendar. Stop questioning your value because your season looks different. The path I have prepared for you is unfolding exactly as I intended. Trust my timing. Embrace your unique calling. Treasure the lessons this season is teaching you. One day you will look back and realize that every delay, every challenge, and every unexpected turn became part of the beautiful story only I could write. Keep your eyes on me, and you will discover that your journey has always been enough because it has always been held securely in my loving hands. My beloved child, I know there are mornings when you wake up already feeling tired. Before the day has fully begun, your mind is filled with responsibilities, unanswered questions, and challenges that seem larger than your own strength. There are moments when you wonder if you have enough courage to keep moving forward. You ask yourself how much longer you can carry the weight resting upon your shoulders. But listen carefully to my voice. I have never asked you to fight today's battle with yesterday's strength or tomorrow's strength. I give you exactly what you need for this day. My grace is not stored only for the future. It is poured out fresh every morning, meeting you right where you are. Many times, you have worried about battles that have not even arrived. You have imagined future struggles until they felt as real as the present. Fear has encouraged you to carry tomorrow's burdens while you are still walking through today. That is why your heart has sometimes felt overwhelmed. My beloved child, I never intended for you to carry the weight of days that have not yet come. Stay with me in this moment. I am already waiting in your tomorrow, but I am giving you strength for today. Remember how I cared for my people in the wilderness. Each morning they found fresh manna waiting for them. They were not asked to gather enough for months ahead because I wanted them to learn something precious. Every sunrise became an invitation to trust my faithfulness once again. When they woke, I had already provided what they needed for that day. In the same way, I am teaching you to depend upon me daily. The strength I give is fresh, not stale. The mercy I offer is new, not borrowed from yesterday. Every morning carries evidence that my care for you has never ended. Imagine a traveler climbing a great mountain. If they stand at the bottom and stare only at the distant peak, they may become discouraged before taking the first step. The journey appears impossible because the destination seems so far away. But the wise guide says, do not try to climb the entire mountain today. Simply take the next faithful step. As the traveler continues, one step becomes another, and another follows after that. Eventually, the summit that once seemed unreachable comes into view. The mountain was never conquered in a single leap. It was climbed through steady faithfulness. My beloved child, do not become overwhelmed by the entire journey. I am not asking you to solve every problem before sunset. I am asking you to trust me with the next step. Sometimes victory is found in choosing hope one more time. Sometimes it is found in speaking kindly when frustration tempts you to react. Sometimes it is found in praying even when your heart feels weary. These small acts of faith may seem insignificant, but heaven sees them as powerful victories because they reveal a heart that continues to trust me. You often believe strength looks like never crying, never doubting, or never feeling weak. But true strength is not the absence of emotion. True strength is choosing to remain close to me even when your heart feels fragile. There have been days when tears filled your eyes, yet you continue walking. There were nights when uncertainty surrounded you, yet you still whispered my name. Those moments were not signs of weakness. They were evidence of a faith that refused to give up. There is an oak tree standing through every season because its roots run deep beneath the surface. Storms bend its branches, fierce winds shake its leaves, and heavy rain soaks the ground around it. But the tree remains standing because its strength comes from what cannot be seen. In the same way, your greatest strength is not found in outward appearance. It grows from your quiet relationship with me. Every prayer deepens your roots. Every moment of trust strengthens your foundation. Every act of surrender allows my life to flow more fully through yours. There will always be voices telling you that you are not enough. They will remind you of your limitations and encourage you to rely only upon yourself. But my beloved child, you were never created to face life's battles alone. My strength fills the places where yours reaches its end. When your hands feel too weak to keep holding on, my hands are still holding you. When your courage begins to fade, my promises remain unshaken. When your heart grows tired, my love becomes the place where you find rest. Do not measure your ability by your own resources. Measure it by the greatness of the one who walks beside you. The same power that has carried you through every difficult season remains with you today. I have not changed. My compassion has not diminished. My wisdom has not failed. My promises have not weakened. If I have been faithful through every chapter behind you, I will certainly remain faithful in the chapters ahead. So as this day unfolds, breathe deeply and release your worries into my hands. Stop asking whether you have enough strength for the entire journey. Instead, ask whether I am faithful enough to carry you through this day. You already know the answer. I have never abandoned you, and I never will. Rise with confidence, my beloved child. Face today's battle without fear, not because every challenge has disappeared, but because my presence goes before you, walks beside you, and surrounds you on every side. The strength you need is already being placed into your heart, one moment at a time, and it will be enough for everything this day holds. My beloved child, I know that trusting again is not easy. There have been moments when you gave your heart freely, only to watch it return to you carrying wounds you never expected. You believed promises that were broken. You depended on people who walked away. You opened your soul with honesty, only to discover that not everyone knew how to handle the gift of your trust. Those experiences left deep marks upon your heart, and over time you began building walls, not because you wanted to shut love out, but because you were trying to protect yourself from being hurt again. I understand why those walls were built. I was with you when every brick was placed there. I never looked at your pain with disappointment. I looked at it with compassion. I saw the betrayal that others overlooked. I heard the words that continued echoing in your mind long after they had been spoken. I watched you question your own judgment, wondering if you would ever be able to trust anyone again. But my beloved child, the actions of people do not change my character. Human faithfulness may rise and fall, but mine remains unshaken. I have always been worthy of your trust, and I always will be. Sometimes the greatest wound is not the loss itself, but the fear it leaves behind. After being hurt, fear quietly whispers, "Never open your heart again. Never believe again. Never hope again." It convinces you that distance is safer than closeness. It tells you that if you expect nothing, you can never be disappointed. But while those thoughts may seem to offer protection, they also steal the joy I created you to experience. A heart that never trusts may avoid certain pains, but it also misses many of the blessings I have prepared. Imagine a small bird that once flew confidently through the open sky. One storm caught it by surprise, and the fierce winds threw it against the branches of a tree. Though it survived, it became afraid of the wind. Days turned into weeks, and instead of flying, it remained hidden, believing the sky itself had become dangerous. Then one quiet morning, the gentle breeze returned. At first the bird trembled, remembering the storm. But slowly it stretched its wings again. It discovered that not every wind was meant to harm it. The same sky that once held the storm also held the freedom it had been created to enjoy. My beloved child, not every tomorrow will repeat yesterday's pain. Do not allow one difficult chapter to convince you that every chapter ahead will end the same way. I am writing a new story. The lessons of the past have made you wiser, but they were never meant to make you fearful. Wisdom learns without becoming hardened. Love remains open without becoming careless. This is the balance I am teaching you. I am not asking you to place blind trust in every person you meet. Discernment is one of my gifts. I will guide you. I will help you recognize relationships that bring life and those that quietly drain your spirit. There are people I am preparing to enter your life who will encourage your faith, honor your heart, and walk beside you with sincerity. Just as I removed certain people for your protection, I am also preparing new connections for your growth. Trust that I know the difference. But above all else, I am inviting you to trust me more deeply than ever before. When people disappoint you, let it remind you that I never will. When plans fall apart, remember that my purpose remains secure. When uncertainty clouds your vision, hold tightly to my promises instead of your fears. Every time you choose to place your confidence in me, another crack in your wounded heart begins to heal. There may be moments when my path seems unfamiliar. I may lead you into opportunities that require courage. I may ask you to forgive when resentment feels easier. I may invite you to begin again when your heart would rather remain where it feels safe. In those moments, remember that I never ask you to take a step without already standing where I am leading you. I do not send you into the unknown alone. I go before you, preparing the way, removing obstacles you cannot see, and surrounding you with my presence. Do you remember how many times I have already proven my faithfulness? Think back to the seasons you believed would break you forever. Somehow you are still here. Think of the prayers that seemed impossible until I answered them in ways you never expected. Think of the strength that appeared when you believed you had none left. Those were not accidents. They were reminders that my hand has always been upon your life. My beloved child, trust grows one step at a time. It does not return all at once, and I am not rushing you. Every small act of faith is precious to me. Every time you choose hope over fear, every time you believe my promises instead of your doubts, and every time you place another burden into my hands, your heart becomes stronger. I am restoring not only your circumstances, but also your ability to believe again. So release the fear that tells you your heart will never be whole. Release the lie that says your best days of love, peace, and joy are behind you. I am healing what was broken, strengthening what became weak, and renewing what almost gave up. Walk beside me with confidence, my beloved child. You do not need to fear the future when your hand is safely held in mine. I am teaching you to trust again, and with every step we take together, you will discover that my faithfulness has never failed and never will. My beloved child, as you step deeper into this new chapter, I want you to understand that I am not only changing your circumstances, I am also surrounding you with the people who belong in the season ahead. Relationships are among the greatest gifts I place into a person's life, but they can also become some of the greatest sources of pain when they are built on the wrong foundation. I know you have experienced both. You have known the joy of feeling understood, and you have known the sorrow of feeling abandoned. You have celebrated friendships that strengthened your spirit, and you have grieved connections that slowly stole your peace. Through every relationship, whether joyful or painful, I have been teaching you something that will prepare your heart for what is coming next. There were people I allowed to walk beside you for only a season. At the time, you may have believed they would remain forever. When they left, you questioned why I allowed the separation. You wondered if you had done something wrong or if you had somehow failed. But my beloved child, not every goodbye is a punishment. Sometimes it is my protection. Sometimes I remove people because they have fulfilled their purpose in your life. Sometimes I allow distance because I know that remaining together would quietly pull you away from the future I have prepared. I never remove something without seeing the entire path ahead. I know there were relationships that left scars upon your heart. There were promises that were not kept, words that wounded more deeply than anyone realized, and moments when trust was broken. Those experiences may have tempted you to believe that everyone will eventually disappoint you. But do not allow the actions of a few to define the hearts of many. I have created people whose lives will become a blessing to yours, just as I have created you to become a blessing to others. The pain of yesterday must not become the prison of tomorrow. Imagine a gardener tending a flourishing vineyard. As the seasons change, he notices vines that have become tangled around the healthy branches. At first, they appear harmless, but over time they begin stealing sunlight and nutrients from the fruit-bearing vines. The gardener carefully removes what no longer belongs, not because he dislikes the vines, but because he loves the harvest. If he leaves everything untouched, the vineyard will never become all it was meant to be. My beloved child, there have been relationships I gently untangled from your life for the very same reason. I was protecting the harvest I placed within you. There are also people I am preparing to bring into your life whose hearts have been shaped through journeys much like your own. They will not be perfect, because no human being is without flaws, but they will encourage your faith rather than weaken it. They will celebrate your growth instead of feeling threatened by it. They will speak truth with kindness, stand beside you during difficult seasons, and rejoice with you when blessings arrive. These are the relationships that reflect my heart. They do not demand perfection. They grow through patience, forgiveness, honesty, and love. As I introduce these new connections, I also ask something of you. Keep your own heart soft. Do not allow past disappointments to make you suspicious of every new person I bring across your path. Be wise, but do not become hardened. Discern carefully, but do not stop loving. The heart that remains open to my guidance will recognize the people I have prepared. Fear sees every stranger as a potential threat, but faith allows me to reveal those who will become faithful companions on the journey. There may also be relationships that require healing rather than separation. Not every broken connection is meant to end forever. Sometimes I soften hearts on both sides. Sometimes I create opportunities for forgiveness where bitterness once lived. Reconciliation, when it is healthy and guided by my wisdom, can become a beautiful testimony of my restoring power. But remember, forgiveness does not always require returning to the same relationship. Sometimes forgiveness brings peace while wisdom leads you in a different direction. Trust me to show you the difference. My beloved child, I also want you to become the kind of friend, family member, and companion you hope to find. Show the kindness you long to receive. Offer the encouragement you once needed. Speak words that lift others rather than tear them down. Listen with compassion. Forgive generously. Love sincerely. As my love fills your heart more deeply each day, it will naturally overflow into the lives of those around you. Healthy relationships begin with hearts that remain rooted in my love. Do not be discouraged if loneliness has visited you during this season. Even in those quiet moments, I have never left your side. Sometimes I allow periods of solitude so that you can hear my voice more clearly before the voices of others return. Solitude is not abandonment. It is often preparation. I have been strengthening your identity in me so that future relationships become places of blessing rather than places where you search for the worth I have already given you. So walk forward with expectation, my beloved child. Do not cling to relationships that I have gently released from your hands, and do not fear the new ones I am preparing. I am weaving together divine appointments, unexpected friendships, wise mentors, faithful companions, and loving hearts that will help you continue growing into the person I created you to be. The people meant for your next chapter are already being guided by my hand, just as you are. At the appointed time, our paths will meet, and together you will discover that my plans have always been filled with perfect wisdom, lasting love, and beautiful purpose. My beloved child, there have been many days when you looked at your life and wondered if you were making any progress at all. You measured your growth by what you could see, and because the visible changes seemed small, you began to question whether anything meaningful was happening. You wondered why your prayers had not yet produced the breakthrough you longed for. You questioned why your heart still carried certain struggles, even after so many conversations with me. At times, you feared that you were standing still while everyone else was moving ahead. But I want you to know something that will bring peace to your heart. Some of the most beautiful growth I create cannot be seen until the right season arrives. When a seed is planted deep beneath the soil, it enters a place of darkness. From the surface, nothing appears to be happening. The ground looks unchanged day after day. Someone passing by may assume the seed hath been forgotten or that it has failed to grow. Yet beneath the earth, something extraordinary is taking place. Tiny roots are stretching downward. Life is quietly awakening. Strength is developing where no human eye can see it. Before the first green shoot ever appears above the ground, an unseen foundation is already being established. My beloved child, there have been seasons when you felt buried beneath responsibilities, disappointments, unanswered prayers, and quiet waiting. But you were never buried without purpose. You were planted. I was allowing your roots to grow deeper into my love, my truth, and my faithfulness. The world often celebrates what is visible, but heaven rejoices over what is becoming strong in secret. I care deeply about the fruit your life will one day bear, but I also care about the roots that will support that fruit through every season. You have grown in ways you may not even recognize. There was a time when every disappointment immediately filled your heart with fear. And now, even though questions remain, you turn toward me more quickly than before. There was a time when every harsh word spoken against you lingered in your heart for weeks, but now you are learning to let my voice speak louder than the opinions of others. There was a time when every delay made you doubt my goodness, but now you are beginning to trust that my timing carries wisdom beyond your understanding. These changes may seem small to you, but they are signs of deep transformation. Imagine a sculptor standing before a large block of marble. Day after day, he chips away tiny pieces with careful precision. To someone watching for only a few moments, it may appear that very little is changing. But the sculptor never loses sight of the masterpiece hidden within the stone. Every strike of the chisel removes only what does not belong. Slowly, patiently, the true beauty begins to emerge. My beloved child, I have been shaping your life with the same loving care. Every challenge has removed something unnecessary. Every lesson has revealed more of the person I created you to become. Do not become discouraged because your growth feels slow. The strongest trees often grow gradually. Their roots spread deep into the earth before their branches stretch toward the sky. That hidden strength allows them to withstand storms that would easily uproot weaker trees. If I rushed your growth simply to satisfy human expectations, you might reach the height you desire without developing the strength needed to remain there. I love you too much to build your future upon shallow foundations. There have been quiet victories that only you and I know about. Moments when you chose forgiveness instead of resentment. Times when you remained patient even though frustration tempted you to react. Days when you continued praying even though the answer had not yet come. Hours when you chose hope over despair, kindness over anger, and faith over fear. The world may never applaud those moments, but heaven treasures every one of them. These unseen victories are shaping a heart that reflects my own. Do not compare your hidden season with another person's visible harvest. Every harvest has a planting season that few people ever witness. The blessings others now enjoy were often preceded by years of quiet faithfulness, unseen sacrifice, and persistent trust. In the same way, your hidden season is preparing a future that will one day become visible. What feels unnoticed today is not unnoticed by me. I delight in every faithful step you take, even when no one else sees it. My beloved child, there are gifts within you that are still unfolding. There is wisdom growing through your waiting. There is compassion being formed through your struggles. There is humility developing through your dependence upon me. There is courage quietly replacing fear with each passing day. None of these treasures can be purchased or rushed. They are formed through walking closely with me, one day at a time. So do not despise the quiet seasons. Do not mistake hidden growth for the absence of progress. I am working in places beyond your sight, strengthening your roots, refining your character, and preparing your heart for the blessings that lie ahead. The day will come when the fruit of this hidden work becomes visible to everyone around you. They will see peace where anxiety once lived. They will see confidence where doubt once ruled. They will see joy where sorrow once lingered. And when that day arrives, you will understand that not one moment of waiting was wasted. Keep trusting me, my beloved child. Continue watering the seeds of faith with your prayers, your obedience, and your hope. Though much of your growth remains hidden today, it is real, it is beautiful, and it is preparing you for a future more wonderful than you can presently imagine. I have never stopped working within you, and I never will. Every hidden root is growing toward the life I have lovingly prepared for you since the very beginning. My beloved child, I know there are moments in your story that you wish had never happened. If you could rewrite certain pages, you would erase the heartbreak, remove the disappointments, and silence the painful memories that still visit your mind from time to time. You have wondered why those chapters were allowed to exist at all. You have asked me why the road became so difficult when all you wanted was to walk faithfully with me. Those questions have never pushed me away. I have listened to every one of them with compassion because I understand the weight they carry. But today I want to show you something that hope alone can reveal. The pain you experienced will not have the final word over your life. I will. There is a difference between causing pain and redeeming pain. I do not delight in your suffering. My heart has always been close to you whenever sorrow entered your life. I have sat beside you through every lonely night. I have held you through every silent tear. I have comforted you when no one else knew the depth of your struggle. Yet because my wisdom reaches beyond what you can presently see, I am able to bring beauty out of places that once seemed beyond repair. What others meant for harm, I can transform into something that strengthens, heals, and blesses. Think of a skilled glassmaker gathering shattered pieces from a beautiful stained glass window after a violent storm. To everyone else, the fragments appear useless. Their colors are scattered across the floor, their purpose seemingly lost forever. But the craftsman patiently collects every piece. He does not throw them away. Instead, he arranges them into a new design that is even more breathtaking than the one before. When sunlight shines through the restored window, the colors become richer because of the journey they have endured. My beloved child, I am that craftsman. I do not waste broken pieces. I redeem them. The wounds you have carried have taught you compassion that comfort alone could never teach. Because you have no lowliness, you recognize the lonely. Because you have experienced disappointment, you understand the hearts of those who are discouraged. Because you have walked through grief, your words now carry a gentleness that reaches people in ways you may never fully realize. The pain you once begged me to remove has quietly become part of the way I will bring healing to others through your life. Do not misunderstand me. I am not saying your suffering was easy or that your tears were unnecessary. Every tear mattered to me. Every heartbreak touched my heart. But I refuse to let your pain become meaningless. I am weaving it into a testimony of my faithfulness. One day, someone standing in the very darkness you once faced will hear your story and discover the courage to keep walking. Your survival will become their hope. Your healing will become their encouragement. Your restored joy will remind them that I to restore theirs as well. There were moments when you believed your brokenness made you less valuable. You feared that the cracks in your heart would always define you. But my beloved child, I have never been intimidated by broken things. Throughout every generation, I have chosen ordinary people with imperfect stories to reveal my extraordinary love. I do not search for flawless vessels. I seek willing hearts. A heart that has been humbled by suffering often becomes the place where my compassion shines most brightly. Imagine a river flowing through a valley after a season of heavy rain. At first, the overflowing waters seem destructive, washing away familiar ground. Yet after the waters recede, the soil becomes richer than before. A new life begins growing where the flood once passed. In time, flowers bloom, trees flourish, and the valley becomes more beautiful because of what it endured. My beloved child, the floods you have faced have not destroyed your future. They have been preparing the soil of your heart for a harvest of wisdom, mercy, and unwavering faith. I also want you to release the burden of asking, "Why me?" There are some answers you will understand only when you see the full picture I see. But even before every question is answered, you can trust my character. I have never stopped being good. I have never stopped loving you. I have never stepped away from your side. My presence has remained constant through every chapter, including the painful ones. If I carried you through the valley, it was never so you would remain there. It was so you could emerge stronger, wiser, and more deeply rooted in my love. Do not hide the chapters that once brought you shame. In my hands, they become testimonies of grace. Your scars are not signs that I abandoned you. They are reminders that I healed you. Your tears are not proof that you were forgotten. They are evidence that I stayed close enough to comfort you. The battles you survived are not reasons to fear tomorrow. They are reminders that my strength has already proven itself faithful again and again. So lift your eyes beyond the pain of yesterday. Stop believing that your greatest struggles have disqualified you from the future I prepared. They have not. I am transforming every wound into wisdom, every disappointment into deeper trust, every sorrow into compassion, and every broken place into a living testimony of my restoring power. The enemy wanted your pain to become your prison, but I am turning it into a doorway through which hope will enter countless lives. Walk forward with confidence, my beloved child. The story I am writing is not one of defeat but of redemption. Every chapter, even the painful ones, is being gathered into my perfect plan. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing had been forgotten. Everything is being woven together by my loving hands into a masterpiece that will reveal my faithfulness for generations to come. My beloved child, there is a new confidence I desire to awaken within your heart. It is not the confidence that comes from having all the answers, possessing great strength, or controlling every circumstance. The confidence I give is far deeper than that. It is the quiet assurance that no matter what lies ahead, you will never walk alone. It is the peace that remains steady when the path becomes uncertain because it is rooted in my unchanging presence rather than changing circumstances. This confidence is not built upon your ability to overcome every obstacle by yourself. It is built upon my promise to remain faithfully beside you through them all. For too long, you have questioned yourself every time you reached a crossroads. You have wondered whether you were capable enough, wise enough, or strong enough to take the next step. Fear has often disguised itself as caution, encouraging you to remain where everything felt familiar. It whispered that staying still was safer than moving forward. Yet, my beloved child, remaining in the same place simply because it feels comfortable can quietly keep you from the beautiful future I have prepared. There comes a time when faith must become greater than familiarity. Remember the child learning to walk for the very first time. Every step is uncertain. Every movement requires courage. There are moments of stumbling, moments of falling, and moments of hesitation. Yet the loving Father never scolds the child for taking imperfect steps. Instead, He smiles with joy because each attempt is evidence of growth. He reaches out His hands, encouraging the child to keep coming forward. My beloved child, I have never expected perfection from you. I delight every time you choose faith over fear, even when your steps seem small. Every step taken toward me is a victory. There have been seasons when you believed your confidence had been stolen forever. Disappointments made you question your abilities. Rejections caused you to doubt your worth. Failures convinced you that perhaps you should stop trying altogether. But those experiences were never meant to define the way you see yourself. They were chapters of your journey, not the conclusion of your story. I have been using each one to teach you that your confidence cannot safely rest upon success alone. It must rest upon my faithfulness because my faithfulness never changes. Imagine a sailor setting out across a wide sea. The waves rise and fall. The winds change direction, and dark clouds sometimes gather overhead. If the sailor fixes his eyes only upon the waves, fear quickly takes hold. But when he keeps his attention on the lighthouse standing firmly upon the shore, he knows exactly where to steer. The lighthouse does not move with the storm. It remains steady, guiding every ship safely home. My beloved child, I am your unchanging lighthouse. The circumstances around you may shift, but my truth remains constant. Fix your eyes on me, and you will always find direction. Do not wait until every fear disappears before you begin walking boldly. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to trust me more than the uncertainty before you. Every courageous step weakens the influence fear once held over your heart. Every act of obedience strengthens your confidence that I truly am leading you. Before long, you will look back and realize that the mountains which once seemed impossible have become testimonies of my faithfulness. I also want you to stop apologizing for the gifts I have placed within you. There have been times when you hid your kindness because others misunderstood it. You minimized your talents because you feared attracting criticism. You remained silent when I called you to speak because you doubted your own voice. But my beloved child, the gifts I placed within you were never meant to remain buried beneath insecurity. They were given so that my love could shine through your life and bless those around you. Confidence rooted in me never becomes pride. Pride says, "Look at what I have accomplished." Confidence says, "Look at what my God is able to do through a willing heart." Pride depends upon recognition from people. Confidence depends upon my approval. Pride seeks to elevate itself above others. Confidence serves others with humility because it understands that every good gift comes from me. This is the confidence I desire for you, a confidence that is gentle, steady, compassionate, and unwavering. There will still be moments when the road ahead appears uncertain. There will still be days when you do not know exactly how every challenge will unfold. But uncertainty no longer has to steal your peace. You do not need complete knowledge to walk confidently. You simply need to remember who is walking beside you. I've already gone before you, preparing the path. I am beside you, strengthening your heart. I am behind you, guarding what you have left behind. You are surrounded by my love in every direction. My beloved child, stop looking at yourself through the eyes of yesterday. You are no longer the person you once were. I have been healing your wounds, strengthening your faith, refining your character, and renewing your hope. The person standing before me today has grown through every trial, every lesson, every prayer, and every act of surrender. You are stronger than you realize because my strength has quietly become part of your life. So lift your head and straighten your shoulders. Walk into this new chapter with quiet confidence. Do not shrink back when opportunities appear. Do not allow fear to silence the dreams I have placed within your heart. Trust the gifts I have given you. Rely upon my wisdom, and remember that I will never ask you to walk a road without first preparing it for you. The future before you is not something to fear. It is something to embrace because I am leading every step. Walk boldly, my beloved child, knowing that my presence is your confidence, my promises are your foundation, and my love will carry you safely through every chapter still to come. My beloved child, there have been moments when you believed the story of your life had already been decided. You looked at the painful chapters behind you and assumed the pages ahead would carry the same sorrow, the same disappointments, and the same unanswered questions. You wondered whether your future would simply become another version of your past. But I want you to hear my voice clearly today. The story is not finished. I am still writing, and I never leave a story unfinished when my hand is holding the pen. Too often, you have judged the entire book by a single difficult chapter. When pain lasted longer than expected, you assumed joy had forgotten your regrets. When one dream faded away, you believed every dream would eventually disappear. When someone walked away from your life, you questioned whether lasting love was even possible. But my beloved child, no wise reader closes a book before reaching the final page. The chapter you are living today is only one part of a much greater story that I have been unfolding since before you took your first breath. Imagine an author carefully writing a novel. In the middle of the story, the main character encounters loss, confusion, and impossible obstacles. If someone read only those chapters, they might conclude that the story has no hope. They would miss the unexpected friendships, the hidden victories, the restored dreams, and the joyful ending waiting in the pages ahead. They would mistake the middle for the ending. My beloved child, you have sometimes done the same with your own life. You have looked at a painful season and assumed it was the final word. But I have never stopped writing. There are details I have been arranging that you cannot yet see. Conversations are being prepared before they happen. Doors are being positioned before you arrive. Hearts are being softened before you meet them. Opportunities are quietly growing in places you have never looked. Even now, while you wonder how everything will come together, my wisdom is weaving countless pieces into a beautiful design. What seems disconnected to you fits perfectly within the story I am creating. You remember how many unexpected blessings have already entered your life. There were people you never expected to meet who became sources of encouragement. There were answers that arrived in ways you never imagined. There were moments when hope appeared just when you believed it had disappeared forever. None of those moments happened by accident. They were gentle reminders that I have always been guiding your story, even when you could not recognize my hand. My beloved child, stop believing that your mistakes have ruined my plans. Your choices matter, but my grace is greater than your failures. I know how to redeem what seems broken. I know how to redirect paths that have wandered. I know how to restore years that appeared lost. There is no chapter so damaged that I cannot breathe new life into it. My mercy reaches farther than your regrets, and my purpose remains stronger than every setback you have faced. Think of a tapestry being woven by skilled hands. From the back, the threads appear tangled, crossing in confusing directions. Someone looking only at that side might believe the work has no pattern or beauty. But when the tapestry is turned around, every thread suddenly makes sense. Colors blend together with purpose. Every crossing becomes part of a breathtaking design. My beloved child, you often see only the back of the tapestry. You see loose friends, unexpected turns, and unanswered questions. I see the finished masterpiece. I know exactly where every thread belongs. This is why I ask you not to lose heart during seasons that seem confusing. There are pages you have not yet read. There are blessings you have not yet received. There are victories you have not yet celebrated. There are people whose lives will one day be changed because of the faith you are developing right now. Your story is larger than your own comfort. It is becoming a testimony of my faithfulness that will encourage many hearts in the years to come. Do not become discouraged if the pace feels slower than you expected. Some stories require time because they carry greater depth. If every prayer were answered immediately, you might never discover the beauty of trusting me through waiting. If every challenge disappeared instantly, you might never experience the strength that grows through perseverance. I care not only about giving you blessings, but also about shaping the person who receives them. The character I am forming within you will become one of the greatest gifts you carry into your future. There will come a day when you look back over these chapters with different eyes. You will see how the closed doors redirected you toward better ones. You will understand why certain delays protected you from unnecessary pain. You will recognize how every disappointment prepared you to appreciate blessings you once could not have imagined. Most importantly, you will see that I never abandoned you for even a single moment. My fingerprints were upon every page, even when my work remained hidden. So, my beloved child, stop fearing the chapters that have not yet been written. Do not allow yesterday's sorrow to become tomorrow's expectation. Instead, wake each day believing that I am continuing the beautiful story I began long ago. Turn the page with confidence, not because you know everything that lies ahead, but because you know the author. My wisdom never fails, my love never grows weary, and my promises never fade. The next chapter is already unfolding, and it carries more hope, more peace, more joy, and more purpose than you have yet imagined. Trust me as I continue writing, for the story of your life is becoming a masterpiece of my grace, and the most beautiful pages are still ahead. My beloved child, I know how deeply your heart longs for peace, not the kind of peace that lasts only for a few quiet moments before worry returns, but a peace that remains steady through every season. You have experienced brief moments when everything seemed calm, only to watch new challenges arise and disturb your heart again. You have wondered if lasting peace is truly possible in a world filled with uncertainty. I tell you today that the peace I offer is different from anything the world can give. It is not built upon perfect circumstances. It is built upon my unchanging presence. Many people believe peace comes when every problem is solved, every question is answered, and every dream becomes reality. They spend their lives chasing conditions they believe will finally make them feel secure. But even after reaching those goals, they often discover that worry simply finds a new place to hide. My beloved child, if your peace depends upon circumstances, It will rise and fall with every change around you. But if your peace is rooted in me, it will remain even when the winds of life begin to blow. Think of a great mountain standing through countless seasons. Storms sweep across its peaks. Snow covers its slopes. Rain pours down its sides. Fierce winds strike it year after year. Yet the mountain remains firmly rooted because its strength reaches far beneath the surface. It is not moved by every storm because its foundation is secure. My beloved child, this is the kind of peace I desire to build within you. I do not promise a life without storms, but I do promise a heart that can remain steady because it rests upon me. There were seasons when anxiety seemed louder than my promises. Your thoughts raced from one fear to another, imagining outcomes that never came to pass. You carried burdens that were never yours to carry. You tried to solve tomorrow's problems while still living through today. I watched your weary heart, and I never condemned you for your struggles. Instead, I gently invited you to place those burdens into my hands. I have never asked you to control everything. I have asked you to trust the one who already does. Peace begins when you stop trying to carry what belongs to me. There are questions only I can answer. There are situations only I can change. There are hearts only I can soften. When you accept that truth, something beautiful begins to happen within you. The weight that once pressed heavily upon your shoulders becomes lighter because you realize you were never meant to carry it alone. Surrender is not giving up. It is placing your confidence where it has always belonged, in my faithful hands. Imagine a child riding in a boat across a large lake during a sudden storm. The waves become rough, and the wind begins to howl. The child looks at the water with fear until they notice the calm expression of the loving father holding the steering wheel. The father's confidence becomes the child's comfort. The storm has not disappeared, but the child rests because they trust the one guiding the boat. My beloved child, you are not steering your life alone. I am with you in every storm, and my hands have never lost control. There are voices around you every day competing for your attention. Some tell you to worry more. Others urge you to fear what might happen tomorrow. Still others encourage you to place your confidence in temporary things that cannot truly satisfy your soul. But my voice continues to speak with quiet certainty. I remind you that I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. My promises do not expire. My love does not weaken. My power does not diminish. If I have carried you through every chapter behind you, I will certainly carry you through every chapter still ahead. My beloved child, guard your heart carefully. What you allow to fill your thoughts will shape the atmosphere of your soul. If you constantly dwell upon fear, fear will grow stronger. If you continually rehearse disappointment, discouragement will become familiar. But when you fill your heart with my truth, my promises, and the memory of my faithfulness, peace begins to take deeper root. Just as a garden flourishes when it is watered regularly, your heart flourishes when it remains close to me. Do not believe that peace means you will never feel emotion again. You will still experience moments of sadness, concern, and uncertainty. Those feelings are part of being human. But they no longer have to become the rulers of your life. My peace is greater than your emotions because it rests upon something unchanging. It reminds you that even when you do not understand what I am doing, you can still trust my heart. As you continue walking into this new chapter, there will be days when unexpected challenges appear. When they do, remember this moment. Pause before rushing into fear. Take a deep breath and remember that I am already present within the situation before you even recognize it. I have not been caught by surprise. I have already prepared the grace, wisdom, and strength you will need. So rest your heart in me, my beloved child. Release every anxious thought that tells you everything depends upon your own efforts. Let my peace settle over your mind like the gentle light of dawn after a long night. Allow it to quiet every fear, calm every racing thought, and strengthen every weary place within you. This peace is not temporary. It is a gift that remains because it comes from my everlasting presence. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that wherever you go, my peace will go with you, guarding your heart, directing your steps, and reminding you that you are forever held in my perfect love. My beloved child, when you hear the word blessing, your mind may sometimes imagine the things you hope to receive: a new opportunity, restored health, financial provision, a peaceful home, or the fulfillment of a long-awaited dream. I know those desires are real, and I care about every one of them. I delight in providing for my children. But I also want you to understand that my greatest blessings reach far beyond what your hands can hold. The richest gifts I give are the ones that transform your heart, strengthen your spirit, and remain with you long after earthly treasures fade away. There was a time when you believed that if only one circumstance changed, everything else would finally fall into place. You thought that one answered prayer would remove every worry, or one open door would erase every fear. But through your journey, I have gently shown you that true fulfillment is not found in receiving more things. It is found in walking more closely with me. The closer you draw to my heart, the more clearly you begin to recognize blessings that were surrounding you all along. Think of a traveler crossing a vast desert. At first, the traveler dreams only of reaching the destination. Every step is focused on what lies ahead. But along the journey, small springs of fresh water appear. Gentle shade is provided beneath scattered trees, and kind companions offer encouragement for the road. If the traveler notices only the final destination, those daily gifts are easily overlooked. Yet each one becomes part of the strength needed to continue the journey. My beloved child, I have been placing blessings along your path every day, even during seasons when you believed you had received none. Some of my blessings arrive as unexpected peace in the middle of uncertainty. Others come as wisdom that keeps you from making a painful decision. Sometimes my blessing appears as the courage to keep going when everything within you wanted to stop. At other times, it is a conversation that restores your hope, a friendship that strengthens your faith, or a quiet moment when my presence reminds you that you are deeply loved. These gifts cannot always be measured by the world's standards, yet they are among the greatest treasures I place into your life. I know there were seasons when you focused so intently on what had not yet happened that you struggled to see what I was already doing. Your heart longed for future blessings, while my hands were gently placing present blessings before you. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude opens your eyes to recognize my faithfulness in every season. It reminds you that I have never stopped caring for you, even when my provision looked different from what you expected. Imagine a child receiving a beautiful garden as an inheritance. The child becomes so fascinated with one tree that has not yet produced fruit that they fail to notice the countless flowers already blooming around them. They overlook the fragrance in the air, the colorful blossoms, and the peaceful beauty surrounding them because their attention remains fixed on what has not yet arrived. My beloved child, I do not want you to miss today's blessings while waiting for tomorrow's harvest. Every season carries gifts worth celebrating. Here are blessings ahead that will surprise you. Some will come through doors you never expected to open. Others will arrive through people you have not yet met. Some blessings will appear after long seasons of waiting, making them even sweeter because your faith has been strengthened along the way. There are prayers you have whispered that I have not forgotten. There are dreams you believed had faded that I am quietly breathing life into once again. My timing has never been delayed by human expectations. Everything I have promised will unfold in the season that reflects my perfect wisdom. But above every earthly blessing, I desire to give you something even greater, a heart that remains joyful regardless of circumstances. Joy rooted in me cannot be stolen by temporary disappointments. Peace grounded in my presence cannot be shaken by uncertain news. Hope built upon my promises continues shining even during the darkest nights. These are treasures that no one can take from you because they are anchored in my eternal love. My beloved child, do not measure my goodness only by what you receive. Measure it by who walks beside you every day. I have been your comfort in sorrow, your strength in weakness, your wisdom in confusion, your shelter in storms, and your faithful companion through every chapter of your journey. Those blessings have carried you farther than you realize, and they will continue carrying you into the future I have prepared. As you step into the days ahead, live with an expectant heart. Wake each morning believing that I am already at work before you open your eyes. Expect opportunities to grow, moments to love, reasons to rejoice, and fresh reminders of my faithfulness. Do not let disappointment from yesterday steal your anticipation for what I will do tomorrow. My storehouses of grace are never empty. My compassion is renewed every morning. My generosity knows no limits. So lift your eyes, my beloved child, and receive the blessings I am placing before you. Some will arrive quietly, like gentle rain nourishing thirsty ground. Others will come with unexpected joy that causes your heart to overflow with gratitude. Welcome them all with humility, remembering that every good gift flows from my loving hands. The road ahead is not marked by lack but by abundance, not merely the abundance of earthly things but the abundance of my peace, my wisdom, my joy, my purpose, and my unwavering love. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that the greatest blessings of your new chapter are already drawing near, and I will faithfully reveal them one by one in the perfect season I have prepared just for you. My beloved child, there have been moments when you quietly wondered whether your purpose had slipped away. You looked at the years behind you, at opportunities that seemed to pass, at dreams that remained unfinished, and you questioned whether the calling I placed upon your life had somehow been lost. You asked yourself if you had waited too long, failed too many times, or taken too many wrong turns. But listen carefully to my voice. The calling I placed within you is not so fragile that it can be destroyed by your past. My purpose for your life has never depended upon perfect circumstances. It has always rested in my faithful hands. Before you took your first breath, I already knew the gifts I would place within you. I formed your heart with intention. I shaped your personality with wisdom. I planted compassion where it would one day comfort the hurting. I placed courage within you for battles you had not yet imagined. I gave you experiences that would become lessons, and I allowed seasons that would become preparation. Nothing about your life has been accidental. Even the chapters you struggled to understand have been woven into the greater purpose I have been unfolding all along. There were times when discouragement whispered that your best opportunity had already passed. It told you that someone else had taken your place or that you had missed the moment forever. But my beloved child, I do not measure purpose the way the world does. The world often believes purpose belongs only to the young, the successful, or the highly visible. I see differently. I look for willing hearts. I delight in those who continue trusting me, even after disappointment. A heart surrendered to me is never too late for the work I have prepared. Imagine a musician who discovers an old violin tucked away in a forgotten corner of a house. Dust covers its surface, and its strings have grown silent after many years. Someone else might look at it and believe it no longer has any value. But the skilled musician carefully cleans it, replaces the worn strings, and begins tuning it once again. Before long, beautiful music fills the room. The instrument had never lost its purpose. It simply needed the touch of the one who understood its design. My beloved child, there may have been seasons when your heart felt like that forgotten instrument, but I have never forgotten the song I created you to play. Do not confuse delay with abandonment. There are dreams I have asked you to hold for a season because your heart was still being prepared. There were lessons you needed before stepping into greater responsibility. There were qualities of patience, humility, and wisdom that could only be developed through waiting. If I had rushed you into certain opportunities before their appointed time, they might have become burdens instead of blessings. My timing has always protected the purpose I placed within you. Your calling is not limited to one occupation, one title, or one stage of life. Your calling begins with reflecting my love wherever you are. It is revealed every time you choose kindness over anger. It grows stronger every time you forgive instead of holding bitterness. It shines whenever you encourage someone who has lost hope. The greatest purpose is not found in being admired by many people. It is found in faithfully living as my beloved child each day. There are people whose lives will be touched simply because you refuse to give up. Someone will find courage because they see how I carried you through difficult seasons. Someone will believe in hope again because they hear your story of restoration. Someone will discover my love because they encounter it reflected through your words, your actions, and your compassion. Never underestimate how deeply one faithful life can influence another. I often accomplish my greatest work through ordinary people who quietly trust me. Do not spend your days looking backward, wondering what might have been. The enemy would gladly keep your attention fixed upon missed opportunities so that you never embrace the opportunities waiting ahead. But I am calling you to lift your eyes. There is still work to do. There are still prayers to pray, lives to encourage, kindness to share, wisdom to offer, and love to give. The story I am writing through you is still unfolding, and every new chapter carries fresh purpose. My beloved child, stop believing the lie that your usefulness depends upon your perfection. I have always worked through imperfect people whose hearts remain open to me. Your weaknesses do not frighten me. Your past does not discourage me. I already knew every chapter before I called you, and my invitation has never changed. I am not asking you to become someone else before you begin. I am asking you to trust me with who you are today. There will be moments when your purpose unfolds in quiet ways that no one else notices. You may encourage one person with a simple conversation. You may pray for someone who never tells you how deeply your prayers help them. You may offer forgiveness that breaks a cycle of pain extending across generations. These moments may seem small, but heaven measures them differently. Every act of love done in my name carries eternal significance. So rise with renewed hope, my beloved child. Stop speaking as though your story has already reached its conclusion. The calling I placed within you is alive because I am alive within you. The gifts I entrusted to your heart are still growing. The dreams I planted are still capable of blooming. The purpose I designed for your life has not expired. Walk boldly into this new chapter with confidence, knowing that I am continually preparing, guiding, and strengthening you. Your greatest contribution may still lie ahead, and I will faithfully lead you into every opportunity I have lovingly prepared. Trust me, keep your heart open, and watch as your calling unfolds with greater beauty than you have ever imagined. My beloved child, there will be moments in this new chapter when you are tempted to stop. Not because you no longer believe in me, but because the journey feels longer than you expected. You may grow weary of waiting. You may become discouraged by obstacles that seem to appear without warning. You may wonder if the progress you have made is enough. In those moments, I want you to remember this simple truth. You do not have to finish the entire journey today. You only need to keep walking with me. Do not underestimate the power of one faithful step. One step may seem too small to matter, but many faithful steps become a life transformed. Every time you choose hope instead of despair, you are moving forward. Every time you forgive instead of holding on to bitterness, you are moving forward. Every time you trust me when fear tells you to turn back, you are moving forward. The world often celebrates dramatic victories, but heaven also rejoices over quiet faithfulness. I see every step, and none of them are wasted. There have been days when you looked back and thought you had accomplished very little. Yet if you could see your life through my eyes, you would recognize how far you have already come. You are not the same person who once believed every fearful thought. You are not the same person who allowed every disappointment to define your future. You are not the same person who thought one failure meant the end of your story. I have been changing you little by little, strengthening your heart through every lesson, every prayer, and every season of waiting. Imagine a traveler crossing a long valley toward a beautiful mountain village. Along the way, the path twists through forests, climbs rocky hills, and disappears around unfamiliar bends. Some mornings the traveler walks beneath clear blue skies, while on other days thick fog hides the road ahead. During the foggy days, the traveler is tempted to stop because the destination can no longer be seen. But an experienced guide gently says, "The village has not disappeared simply because you cannot see it. Keep walking, and the fog will eventually lift." My beloved child, there have been seasons when uncertainty surrounded your path like that fog, but your destination never disappeared. My promises remain just as true, even when you could not clearly see them. Do not let temporary discouragement become a permanent decision. Feelings change, circumstances shift, and difficult seasons eventually pass. If you make lasting decisions based upon temporary emotions, you may walk away from blessings that are much closer than you realize. There were times when you came within just a few more steps of a breakthrough, yet weariness whispered that it was time to quit. I lovingly strengthened you because I knew what was waiting just beyond what you could see. Remember how rivers reach the sea. They do not arrive because they move in a perfectly straight line. They flow around rocks, through valleys, across open fields, and sometimes through places that seem impossible to cross. Yet they continue moving forward because they do not lose sight of the direction they were created to follow. My beloved child, your journey may include unexpected turns, but those turns do not mean you are lost. I am still guiding the current of your life toward the purpose I prepared long ago. There will also be moments when progress feels slower than you hoped. During those seasons, resist the temptation to compare your pace with someone else's. I have not asked you to run another person's race. I have invited you to walk faithfully upon the path I designed especially for you. Some journeys require longer preparation because they carry greater responsibility. Others include quiet seasons because I am strengthening foundations that will support future blessings. Trust that my timing has always been filled with wisdom. Whenever you become tired, do not hide your weariness from me. Bring it into my presence. Tell me honestly when your heart feels heavy. Speak to me when questions fill your mind. I do not expect you to pretend you are stronger than you feel. I invite you to receive strength from me. Just as a weary traveler pauses beside a clear stream to drink fresh water before continuing the journey, come to me and allow my love to refresh your soul. I will renew your courage. I will steady your steps. I will remind you why you began this journey in the first place. My beloved child, celebrate the small victories along the way. Rejoice when fear loses even a little of its hold upon your heart. Give thanks when peace remains during a difficult day. And notice the moments when kindness becomes your first response instead of anger, when hope rises more quickly after disappointment, and when your trust in me grows stronger than it was yesterday. These quiet victories are signs that my work within you is bearing beautiful fruit. Do not believe the lie that turning back will bring greater peace. The life behind you no longer fits the person you are becoming. I have called you forward because there are blessings ahead that cannot be found in yesterday. There are people waiting to be encouraged by your story. There are prayers waiting to be answered. There are dreams waiting to bloom in the season I have prepared. Every step you take in faith brings you closer to those gifts. So keep walking, my beloved child. Lift your eyes whenever the road becomes difficult. Hold tightly to my hand whenever uncertainty appears. Let my promises become the strength beneath your feet. You do not need to know every detail of the journey because you know the one leading you. I have never failed you, and I never will. Continue moving forward with courage, patience, and unwavering trust. The road ahead is filled with my presence, my peace, and my perfect purpose, and every faithful step is carrying you closer to the beautiful future I have lovingly prepared for you. My beloved child, there was a time when you believed his strength meant never breaking, never crying, and never feeling afraid. You thought that strong people always had the right answers, always knew what to do, and never questioned the road before them. But as you have walked with me, I have been teaching you a different kind of strength. True strength is not pretending that the storm does not exist. True strength is continuing to trust me while the storm is still passing overhead. It is not found in hiding your weakness. It is found in bringing your weakness into my presence and allowing my love to become your strength. Look back for a moment, not to dwell on the past, but to recognize how far I have already brought you. There were challenges that once seemed impossible to survive. There were nights when you believed your heart would never recover. There were seasons when your prayers were filled with tears instead of certainty. Yet here you are. You may still carry questions, but you are standing. You may still have battles ahead, but you have not been defeated. Every difficult chapter has quietly built a strength within you that you did not know was possible. Imagine a blacksmith shaping a sword in the fire. The metal is placed into intense heat, then struck again and again by the hammer. To someone who does not understand the process, it might seem as though the metal is being destroyed. But the blacksmith knows that every moment in the fire and every careful strike is making the blade stronger. Without the fire, it would remain weak. Without the shaping, it would never fulfill the purpose for which it was created. My beloved child, there have been seasons when you felt like that piece of metal. The trials were not meant to destroy you. They were shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you had ever been before. I know there were moments when you asked me to remove every difficulty immediately. I heard those prayers with compassion because I knew your heart was weary. Sometimes I did remove the burden. Other times, I strengthened you to carry it until the right season arrived. In those moments, I was not withholding my love from you. I was revealing it in a different way. I was teaching you that your confidence does not come from an easy life. It comes from walking closely with me through every circumstance. There is a quiet confidence growing within you now that was not there before. It is not loud or boastful. It does not seek attention or applause. It simply rests in the assurance that I have been faithful before, and I will be faithful again. This confidence hath been born through experience. Every answered prayer, every unexpected provision, every comfort I brought during sorrow, and every door I opened at the perfect time has become another reminder that I can be trusted completely. Do not underestimate the strength that has been formed through your waiting. Waiting has taught you patience. Heartbreak has taught you compassion. Disappointment has taught you perseverance. Silence has taught you to listen more carefully for my voice. Every season has left a gift within your heart, even if you could not recognize it at first. What once seemed like unnecessary delay has become part of the foundation supporting the person you are becoming. Think of a mighty tree standing in an open field. It did not become strong during calm days alone. Its roots grew deeper each time strong winds pushed against it. Every storm forced those roots to reach farther into the earth. Over time, the very winds that threatened to uproot the tree actually helped make it stronger. My beloved child, the storms you have faced have deepened your roots in my love. You are not standing today because life has always been easy. You are standing because I have been holding you through every storm. There are still challenges ahead, but do not fear them. The person entering those future battles is not the same person who entered the battles of yesterday. You have learned how to pray with greater faith. You have learned how to wait with greater peace. You have learned how to forgive more freely and hope more deeply. The trials you once feared have become teachers that prepared you for the next chapter of your life. My beloved child, never believe the lie that your scars make you weak. Your scars tell the story of my sustaining grace. They remind you that what once threatened to break you became the place where my strength was most clearly revealed. They are not signs of defeat. They are reminders that I carried you when you could not carry yourself. They speak of endurance, restoration, and hope. As you continue walking forward, do not rely only upon your own strength. The greatest mistake you could make would be believing that because you have grown stronger, you no longer need me. Every new day is another invitation to remain close to my heart. Just as a branch receives life by remaining connected to the vine, your soul receives strength by remaining connected to me. Apart from my presence, even the strongest heart becomes weary. But with me, you will always find fresh courage for the journey ahead. So stand confidently, my beloved child, not because you have become perfect, but because my work within you continues every day. You are stronger than you were yesterday, not because of your own efforts alone, but because my hands have been faithfully shaping you through every season. Continue trusting me with every step. Continue bringing your burdens into my presence. Continue believing that I am finishing the beautiful work I began within you. The strength you are discovering today is preparing you for the greater joys, greater responsibilities, and greater blessings waiting in the chapters still to come. I will continue strengthening your heart until the day you fully see the masterpiece we have been creating together. My beloved child, there are promises I have spoken over your life that you may feel are taking longer than you expected. There have been days when you wondered if they were still alive. You looked at your circumstances and asked yourself whether the waiting had become too long or whether you had somehow missed what I intended for you. But listen closely to my voice. My promises are not measured by the passing of time. They are fulfilled according to my perfect wisdom, and my faithfulness has never failed. What I have spoken, I will accomplish. What I have begun, I will complete. The world often teaches you to trust only what you can immediately see. It encourages you to believe only in what can be touched, measured, or explained. But my kingdom has always worked differently. I ask you to trust before you see. I ask you to believe before the answer arrives. This kind of faith is not blindness. It is confidence in my character. You already know my heart because I have carried you through every chapter behind you. The same God who hath been faithful yesterday remains faithful today and will be faithful tomorrow. There were moments when you thought I had forgotten the prayers you whispered years ago. Some of those prayers were spoken through tears. Others came from places of quiet hope. A few were prayed so long ago that you barely remember them yourself. But my beloved child, I remember every one of them. No sincere prayer has ever been lost. Every cry of your heart has reached me. Even when my answer has not yet appeared, my attention has never turned away from you. Imagine a farmer planting seeds across a wide field. After placing each seed into the soil, he does not return the next morning expecting a full harvest. He understands that growth requires time. He continues watering the ground, trusting the unseen work taking place beneath the surface. If he became impatient and dug up every seed to check its progress, he would only delay the harvest he longed to see. My beloved child, many of my promises are like those seeds. They are growing beneath the surface in ways you cannot yet observe. Do not let impatience cause you to lose confidence in what I am preparing. There have been promises I delayed because your heart needed further preparation. There have been blessings I held back because the season was not yet right. If I had given them too early, they might have become burdens instead of gifts. I do not delay because I enjoy watching you wait. I delay because I love you enough to prepare both the blessing and the one who will receive it. My timing protects what my promises provide. Look back over your journey for a moment. Think of the things you once believed would never change. Remember the fears that no longer control you as they once did. Recall the wounds that have gradually begun to heal. Consider the strength you now possess that seemed impossible during earlier seasons. These are already signs of my promises unfolding within your life. Sometimes you are so focused on what has not yet happened that you overlook the miracles I have already accomplished. Think of the sunrise each morning. Before the first light appears, that horizon often remains dark. Yet the darkness never has the power to stop the dawn. The sun rises because it follows the order established by my hand. In the same way, my promises do not depend upon the opinions of people, the uncertainty of circumstances, or the obstacles you encounter. They move forward according to my purpose. Nothing can permanently prevent what I have declared. My beloved child, do not confuse temporary setbacks with permanent defeat. There may be moments when the path appears blocked, when doors remain closed, or when progress seems painfully slow. But those moments do not erase my promises. They often become part of the very process through which I bring them to fulfillment. I know roads you cannot yet see. I know opportunities waiting beyond today's challenges. I know how to make a way where none appears possible. Whenever doubt begins speaking to your heart, answer it by remembering my faithfulness. Remember the times I provided when you saw no solution. Remember the peace I gave when anxiety surrounded you. Remember the unexpected blessings that arrived when hope seemed distant. Each memory becomes another stone in the foundation of your faith. Build upon those reminders rather than upon your fears. Let my past faithfulness strengthen your confidence in my future promises. I also want you to understand that my greatest promises are not limited to material blessings. I have promised to remain with you. I have promised to guide you. I have promised to strengthen you when you are weak, comfort you when you grieve, and give you wisdom when you seek me. These promises have been unfolding every day, often in quiet ways you may not immediately notice. They are the foundation upon which every other blessing rests. So hold firmly to hope, my beloved child. Refuse to let discouragement steal your expectation. Do not measure my faithfulness by the speed of the answer. Measure it by the consistency of my love. I have never broken a promise, and I never will. The pages of your story are still being written, and every promise I have spoken over your life is moving steadily toward its appointed season. Continue walking with confidence. Continue praying with expectation. Continue trusting with a peaceful heart. The one who made the promise is also the one who fulfills it, and my hands never fail. The future before you is secure because it rests upon my everlasting faithfulness, and every promise I have placed within your heart will bloom in the perfect season I have prepared. My beloved child, there were seasons when the darkness around you felt so heavy that you began to wonder if the light would ever return. You prayed, you waited, and you searched for signs that a new day was coming, yet the night seemed to linger. There were moments when discouragement whispered that this was simply the way your life would always be. They tried to convince you that hope belonged to other people but not to you. Yet I have never allowed darkness to have the final word. Darkness may remain for a season, but it cannot overcome the light that comes from my presence. I have watched you continue walking even when you could barely see the path before you. There were days when your faith was not loud or dramatic. It was simply the quiet decision to keep taking one more step. You did not always feel courageous, but you continued moving forward. You did not always understand my ways, but you refused to let go of my hand. My beloved child, those quiet acts of faith have never gone unnoticed. They have become part of the beautiful testimony I have been writing within your life. Think of a traveler making their way through a dense forest before sunrise. The trees cast long shadows, and every direction seems uncertain. The traveler cannot see the full path, only the few steps illuminated by a small lantern. It would be easy to become discouraged because the destination remains hidden. Yet with every faithful step, the horizon slowly begins to brighten. The first rays of morning break through the branches, revealing what had been concealed throughout the night. The traveler realizes that the light was approaching all along, even when it could not yet be seen. My beloved child, this is how my guidance often works. I do not always reveal the entire journey at once, but I faithfully provide enough light for the next step. Do not despise the small light I place before you. Sometimes you have prayed for the whole map while I have lovingly given you the next direction. You have asked to see the entire future, while I have invited you to trust me one day at a time. This is not because I desire to keep you uncertain. It is because I desire to keep you close. When you walk with me daily, your heart learns to depend upon my presence rather than upon perfect understanding. There are blessings waiting ahead that your present circumstances cannot yet reveal. There are prayers already moving toward their answers. There are moments of joy that will surprise you when you least expect them. There are relationships that will strengthen your heart, opportunities that will awaken your gifts, and seasons of peace that will make you look back with gratitude instead of sorrow. Even now, while you are listening to my voice, I am preparing what lies ahead with perfect wisdom. My beloved child, never allow temporary darkness to convince you that my light has disappeared. Clouds may hide the sun for a time, but they cannot extinguish it. In the same way, difficult seasons may temporarily obscure your view of my work, but they cannot stop my faithfulness. I remain the same through every changing circumstance. My love continues reaching toward you even when your emotions tell you otherwise. My promises continue unfolding even when your eyes cannot yet perceive them. Remember how many times I have already brought light into your life. There were seasons when you believed healing would never come, yet your heart gradually found peace. There were nights when anxiety seemed endless, yet I gently calmed your spirit. There were situations that appeared impossible, yet somehow I opened a way forward. Those moments were not isolated miracles. They were reminders of my unchanging character. What I have done before, I am fully able to do again. There will always be voices encouraging you to focus on everything that could go wrong. Fear often magnifies the shadows while ignoring the sunrise already approaching. But I am calling you to lift your eyes. Train your heart to notice my faithfulness in the smallest details. See my kindness in the people I place along your path. Recognize my provision in the strength I give you each day. Celebrate the peace that quietly settles into your heart when you choose to trust me. Every one of these moments is another beam of my light shining into your life. The light ahead is not an illusion. It is not false hope or empty encouragement. It is the future I have been preparing since before you knew it existed. Every lesson you have learned, every tear you have cried, every prayer you have whispered, and every act of obedience you have offered has been guiding you toward that light. Nothing has been wasted. Every part of your journey has been leading you here. So do not stop walking now, my beloved child. Do not allow weariness to persuade you that the journey is too long. The dawn is closer than you realize. The peace you have longed for is becoming more real with every step. The joy you thought was lost is beginning to bloom again. Keep your eyes upon me instead of the shadows around you. Let my promises become the light that guides your heart when your own understanding grows dim. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that I go before you as your light, beside you as your faithful companion, and behind you as your protector. You are not wandering through darkness without direction. You are being led toward a future filled with hope, purpose, healing, and lasting joy. The light ahead is real because I am there, waiting to welcome you into the beautiful new chapter that has been unfolding all along. My beloved child, you have come farther than you realize. When you first began this journey, your heart carried questions that seemed too heavy to answer. You wondered whether healing was truly possible, whether hope could return, and whether your future still held purpose. Step by step, I have walked beside you. I have reminded you that you were never forgotten, never abandoned, and never beyond the reach of my love. Now you stand at the threshold of a new chapter. The door is open before you, but I will not force you to walk through it. Love never forces. Love invites. Today, I am inviting you to step forward with confidence. Do not stand in the doorway looking back at everything you have already released. Yesterday has taught you many valuable lessons, but it is no longer your home. There is a difference between remembering where you came from and remaining there. The past has served its purpose. It has shaped your compassion, strengthened your faith, and revealed my faithfulness in ways you could never have imagined. But now I am calling you to embrace what lies ahead instead of mourning what has been left behind. Imagine a traveler who has finally reached the shore after crossing a wide sea. The storm that once threatened to overwhelm the journey has passed. The waves have grown calm. Before the traveler stretches a beautiful landscape filled with valleys, rivers, forests, and distant mountains waiting to be explored. Yet instead of stepping onto the new land, the traveler remains standing in the boat, staring back at the ocean that has already been crossed. The journey across the water was necessary, but it was never meant to become the final destination. My beloved child, do not remain emotionally anchored to seasons I have already brought you through. There is life waiting beyond the shore. I know that new beginnings can feel unfamiliar. Even beautiful change requires courage because it asks you to leave behind what has become comfortable. Sometimes people remain in familiar pain simply because they fear unfamiliar joy. They know how to survive disappointment, but they hesitate to believe that peace can truly become their daily companion. Yet I did not create you merely to survive. I created you to flourish in the freedom of my love. As you step into this new chapter, you do not need to carry every burden from the old one. Leave behind the guilt that I have already forgiven. Leave behind the fear that I have already replaced with my promises. Leave behind the bitterness that no longer belongs in your heart. Leave behind the belief that your future must resemble your past. Those burdens were never meant to travel with you into the life I have prepared. There will be moments when your old thoughts try to call you back. They will whisper familiar doubts, reminding you of past failures and former fears. But you no longer have to answer those voices. When they call your name, let my voice become louder. Remember who you are. You are my beloved child. You are deeply loved, carefully guided, and continually strengthened by my presence. Your identity has changed because your heart has been transformed. Do not return to a place that no longer reflects the person you are becoming. Think of an eagle standing on the edge of a high cliff. The wind blows strongly around it, and for a moment it hesitates. Remaining where it is feels safer than stepping into the open sky. Yet the eagle was never created merely to stand upon the rocks. It was created to spread its wings and soar. The very wind that seems frightening becomes the force that lifts it higher than it could ever rise alone. My beloved child, the uncertainties before you are not meant to push you backward. In my hands, they become the very winds that will carry you into greater heights of faith, wisdom, and purpose. Do not wait until every fear disappears before embracing this new season. If you wait for perfect certainty, you may never move at all. Instead, let your confidence rest in my character. I have never failed you. I have never abandoned you. I have never stopped working for your good. Every promise I have spoken remains alive. Every blessing I have prepared remains secure. Every step I ask you to take has already been covered by my grace. As you move forward, remember that this new chapter is not about becoming someone entirely different. It is about becoming more fully the person I created you to be from the beginning. The gifts within you are awakening. The wisdom within you is growing. The compassion within you is deepening. The peace within you is becoming stronger than the fear that once ruled your thoughts. You are not pretending to be transformed. You are being transformed by my love every single day. So take my hand once again, my beloved child. Lift your eyes toward the horizon I have prepared for you. Do not be afraid of what is ahead, because I have already gone before you. Walk through this open door with expectation instead of hesitation. Receive this new chapter with gratitude instead of uncertainty. Let hope become your companion, faith become your strength, and love become the foundation beneath every step you take. The life waiting before you is not an accident. It is the fulfillment of the journey I have been leading you toward all along. Step fully into it with confidence, because I am with you, I am for you, and I will continue guiding you until every beautiful promise I have placed within your heart becomes a living reality. My beloved child, as you stand on the threshold of this beautiful new chapter, there is one promise I want you to carry deeper in your heart than any other. Circumstances will change. Seasons will come and go. People may enter your life for a time and then continue on their own journeys. Opportunities will open and close. Mountains will rise before you, and valleys will stretch beneath your feet. But through every chapter, every victory, every question, and every new beginning, one truth will never change. I will never leave you. There were moments in your past when loneliness became one of your greatest burdens. You stood in crowded places and still felt unseen. You spoke words that seemed to fall into silence. You carried struggles that no one else fully understood. In those moments, it was easy to believe that you had been abandoned. But my beloved child, even when you could not feel my presence, you were never outside of it. I was closer than your next breath. I was holding you when you believed you were standing alone. I was strengthening your heart in ways your eyes could not yet recognize. Remember the countless times you thought you would never make it through another difficult day. Yet somehow, strength arrived. Peace quietly settled into your heart. Hope returned when you believed it had disappeared forever. Those moments were not coincidences. They were gentle reminders that I had never stepped away from your side. My presence has been the quiet foundation beneath every step you have taken, even when you were unaware of it. Imagine a little child walking through a crowded marketplace while holding the hand of a loving father. The child may become distracted by unfamiliar faces, loud voices, and unexpected turns along the road. And times, the child may even become frightened because everything feels uncertain. But the father never loosens his grip. No matter how crowded the path becomes, his hand remains steady. The child does not need to know every direction because the father already knows the way home. My beloved child, this is how I hold you. Life may become confusing at times, but my grip upon your life has never weakened. There will still be days when questions arise. There will still be moments when you cannot immediately understand why certain events unfold the way they do. Faith does not remove every mystery, but faith reminds you that even when answers are delayed, my presence is constant. I do not promise that every road will be easy. I promise that no road will ever be walked without me beside you. When sorrow visits again, remember that I will be your comfort. When uncertainty appears, I will be your wisdom. When fear whispers, I will be your courage. When your strength feels small, my strength will become more than enough. You do not have to prepare yourself for every possible challenge because I have already prepared myself to meet you in every one of them. There is no situation you will ever face where my love cannot reach you. My beloved child, do not let your heart become troubled by the unknown future. The future is unknown only to you. It has never been unknown to me. I already see every sunrise you have yet to experience. I know every conversation waiting to encourage you. I know every blessing that will bring joy to your heart. I know every trial that will strengthen your faith. Most importantly, I know exactly how I will walk with you through each one. Nothing that surprises you has ever surprised me. There may be moments when you feel that your prayers are simple or your faith is small. Do not believe that I measure your heart by the size of your words. Sometimes the quietest prayer carries the deepest trust. Sometimes a single whispered "help me" reaches my heart more powerfully than many carefully spoken sentences. I know what you need before you even ask. Yet I delight when you come to me because every conversation draws us closer together. Think of the stars that fill the night sky. Even when clouds cover them, they remain in their place. They have not disappeared simply because they cannot be seen. In the same way, my presence does not vanish during seasons when you cannot feel it. I remain faithful through every cloud, every storm, and every long night. When the clouds finally pass, you will discover that I was with you all along. My beloved child, let this promise become an anchor for your soul. When fear tries to convince you that you are alone, remember my voice. When disappointment tempts you to lose hope, remember my faithfulness. When your heart grows weary, remember my love. I have never broken my promises, and I never will. I do not grow tired of walking beside you. I do not become impatient with your questions. I do not withdraw my love when you stumble. My commitment to you is not based upon your perfection. It is rooted in my everlasting heart. So continue into this new chapter without fear. Walk boldly through every open door I place before you. Face every unknown with quiet confidence. Celebrate every blessing with gratitude. Learn from every challenge with humility. Through it all, keep your hand in mine. I will guide you when you need direction. I will strengthen you when you feel weak. I will comfort you when your heart aches. I will rejoice with you in every victory. And when this chapter gives way to the next, my presence will remain exactly as it has always been. My beloved child, I will never leave you, I will never forsake you, and my love for you will endure forever. My beloved child, we have walked together through every page of this journey. We have stood in the places where your heart once carried fear, regret, disappointment, and uncertainty. We have remembered the tears you thought no one saw, the prayers you believed had gone unanswered, and the dreams you feared had been forgotten. Yet through every chapter, I have spoken the same truth to your heart. You have never been alone. I have always been with you, and I will always remain with you. Now I want you to pause for a moment and look back, not with sorrow, but with gratitude. See how far you have come. The person listening to my voice today is not the same person who began this journey. Your heart has grown stronger. Your faith has become deeper. Your hope has been renewed. Your eyes have begun to look beyond temporary circumstances and toward my everlasting promises. Even when you could not see it, I was shaping you. Even when you questioned my silence, I was preparing your future. Even when you felt weak, my strength was quietly carrying you. Do not underestimate the miracle that has taken place within your heart. Transformation rarely arrives all at once. It grows one prayer at a time, one act of trust at a time, one surrendered burden at a time. Every lesson you have learned has become another stone in the strong foundation I have been building beneath your life. Every trial has refined your character. Every victory has reminded you of my faithfulness. Every setback has become a stepping stone leading you toward the purpose I planned before you were born. The chapter before you is no longer written by fear. It is no longer controlled by yesterday's pain or yesterday's failures. It is being written by my grace. Walk into it without carrying the chains I have already broken. Walk into it without believing the lies that once held you captive. Walk into it knowing that you are loved beyond measure, chosen with purpose, and guided by my faithful hand. There will still be days when questions arise, but let them no longer steal your peace. There will still be moments when the road bends beyond your sight, but let them no longer steal your confidence. You know the one who walks ahead of you. You know the one who holds your future. You know the one whose love has never failed. Whenever uncertainty appears, return to my voice. Whenever fear whispers, remember my promises. Whenever weariness settles upon your heart, rest in my presence. I will always give you what you need for the step directly before you. My beloved child, I bless your future with peace that remains through every season. I bless your heart with courage greater than fear. I bless your mind with wisdom beyond human understanding. I bless your home with my presence. I bless your relationships with love, patience, and grace. I bless your work with purpose. I bless your dreams with renewed hope. I bless your spirit with unshakable confidence that I am working all things together for your good. May every sunrise remind you that my mercy is new. May every challenge remind you that my strength is enough. May every victory remind you that every good gift comes from my loving hands. As you leave this moment and continue your journey, do not think of this message as merely words you have heard. Let it become truth that you carry within your heart every day. Return to these promises whenever you need encouragement. Speak them over your life whenever fear tries to return. Let my love become the foundation upon which every decision, every dream, and every new beginning is built. This is not simply the end of a message. It is the beginning of a life lived with greater faith, greater peace, and greater confidence in my unfailing love. And now, my beloved child, before we finish, I invite you to become part of something greater than yourself. Every time you help share my word, you become like a sower scattering living seeds into hearts that are desperate for hope. I remind you of my promise. Give, and it will be given to you, not as a distant verse, but as my living voice speaking directly to your heart today. I tell you now, this is your moment to help carry my light into homes you may never see and lives you may never meet. If this message has strengthened your soul, respond through a super thanks, become a channel member, or give through the PayPal donation link in the video description or the QR code shown in this video. Every offering becomes another lamp shining into someone's darkness and another stream carrying my love to thirsty hearts. Do not delay the opportunity to participate in this harvest, for every seed sown in faith becomes part of an eternal work. I bless every generous heart with fresh peace, renewed strength, open doors, and overflowing grace according to my perfect will. Let your giving become a prophetic declaration that you believe my kingdom will continue reaching the lost. Rise now, sow your seed with joy, and become a faithful partner in spreading my word across the world. Go forward now with confidence, my beloved child. Your new chapter has already begun. Walk in my peace. Walk in my joy. Walk in my purpose. Walk in my love. I am with you today, tomorrow, and forever. Amen.